Not getting good signal. Hold up. Welcome, guys, to the Night Talk. I am your host, the Wingman, with my co-host, TLO.
Good
What is
evening.
up, man?
Well, unfortunately, not much. The usual drama, the usual BS. That's how it goes.
Feel it, understand it. You know what? I can honestly say that. Um, yeah, I can honestly say it. For once, I understand that pain, TLO.
Right?
For
Yeah,
once, I can say it. I'm not in the greatest situation myself.
right. There's a lot going on in the world. Partly the reason why none of us have graced the airwaves for a while.
Yep, that's probably why I've been gone the past 2 months. Or has it been longer?
No, it's been around 2 months.
Hey, Pamela, good to see you. Good to be back. So, I'm going to step in my back patio for a little bit until my phone just decides to start dying. I'll come back in the house so I can actually kind of talk. Um,
Well, it's nice and balmy where you're at.
oh, yes, it is actually nice and balmy. We got Miss Scarlet. Hello, Miss Scarlet.
Hello, hello.
So,
I
guys, we
actually
have the.
need you to send me though the code so I can actually see chat.
Oh, shit. I got to do that with you and TLO both, don't I?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. TLO, do you remember how to log in?
Just send it. Don't talk about it. Just send it.
Yeah, just send it and I'll get on.
Okay, hold on.
Go for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, did it take out all of us?
No, I think it just froze Dwayne.
No, it did. So.
No, that's not what I need. I need the code, the number that they gave you to start the show when you
Oh, I just
relogged
logged.
in.
Oh no, I didn't have to relog in. I just came straight in. You have to
Well, you're
relog in,
gonna
hon.
have to give me the code then because it's good.
No, there she goes. Guys, 1 second. TLO, do you remember how to log in?
Yes.
Relog in, and I'm gonna send you your code, and I'm gonna send Scarlett her code, so everybody can see chats.
All
Well, let
right.
Scarlett do it first, and then we'll have you do it. So we're not supposed to be floppy, and I'm not by myself.
True.
So,
Even though
guys,
you're enjoying the weather.
oh, dude, the Alabama weather down here, dude, is fucking great. Not gonna lie, I actually kind of don't miss Ohio.
Well,
I miss I
you
miss
have a lot of
Dean.
reasons why you don't necessarily miss Ohio, but weather
Uh,
is
I miss
probably not
Dean.
the closest. Ah, there's the code.
Oh, did she just send it to you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I just sent it. What the hell? Y'all gotta give me a minute.
Yes,
But
Dwayne, but we live in the world of instant gratification, and so everyone is always on a deadline.
right, so guys, since y'all did hear me say yes, I've moved to the Roll Tide State. I'm not really welcomed here as a Buckeyes fan.
Yeah, I could see how that would be a problem.
I
Go
get hazed.
Taylor about their their sport in the South.
It I'm welcomed here as a person, but as
Yeah,
an
but as
Ohio
a
State fan,
fan, no, absolutely not, because they love their football, Dwayne, and they love their
as
sports.
Yeah.
as a fan, it's not really okay. TLO, I'm gonna send you the information to log in real quick
I already
so we
did.
can get you. Does he have the email?
He, I'm pretty sure.
Because it's gonna make him retype that email in. All right, TLO. There's your login email, and then I'll send you the code when you're ready.
All right.
Because it sends you different codes every time. I've realized that.
Yeah, it does.
But no. So Pam, to answer your question real quick, what brought me down to the Roll Tide state is it became literally a life or death situation back home. Not really gonna go into it. Scarlett knows, and needed a change in my life, needed to find Christ, and needed to get back closer to Christ. Now I'm going to celebrate recovery on Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm going to church on Sundays.
Yeah,
So
for the Lord.
it's easier now. When TLO gets in here, guys, we're gonna break. I'm not even gonna hesitate. We're just gonna break this bitch open. We're gonna break it open. We're gonna dive, and we're gonna dive deep. Checking email. Give me a second. Where the hell's it at? There it is.
He just needs to put in the same one that existed, even if a new one generates, because it still works for 15 minutes.
Oh, it just sends another one out, so I'm
I
sending
know, but
TLO
if
that
the
one.
same one will still work for 15 minutes.
Oh, see, I didn't know that part. You know more
Yep.
about this
So
stuff
for
than I
future
do.
reference, if somebody triggers another one, that one works for 15 minutes.
Okay, that makes sense. Now we're just waiting for TLO to get here.
Yep. You can use the new one, but it still gets you in with the old one.
Right, I just sent him the new one real quick.
So.
Yeah, Pam, it was that bad. When I told Scarlett I was leaving, Scarlett went like, "Thank God, it's about time." I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
I do miss Dean. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like she lets you see him that much anyway, so.
Right, I get to video call him every week. I get to video call him pretty much every day. I call and talk to him for like a half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah. And see,
He
now
has,
that there's video chat, that helps.
yeah, he still has a small attention span.
Yeah. And even if he didn't, just hearing your voice in the background helps.
Yeah, we still watch cartoons and stuff together. He'll sit at the phone will be flipped around. He can see me. I can see the TV. It's all fine.
Right.
Finally talked to my mom, by the way. Oh, there's Tila. Okay, can everybody see the chat now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Well,
We're
and
gonna
it
shoot
just
right at.
allows us to chat. Otherwise, we can't chat.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I
can't chat.
forgot you guys can't type in the chat or anything like that.
Yeah, if we're not in the studio, we can't chat.
Yeah, it sucks. And that's the one thing I don't like about streaming
But
or
I
coming
do
in on
like that
guest.
though, because with certain guests, I mean,
That's true.
if they started shit or something, you don't want them just to have free reign of your chat either.
Exactly.
Aw, Pam.
What Pam
Sorry to
said.
hear that, Pam. My condolences.
Aw. My
Oh,
condolences
I'm
go out
sorry
to
to
you,
hear that,
hon.
Pam. That's
I
too
feel
bad.
that. Yeah, I understand. That has to suck. Right before the holidays are supposed to, like literally 3 weeks before the holidays are supposed to start.
Yeah. I understand what it's like to lose somebody on the holidays, so it sucks.
As do I.
As do I. It sucks. It hurts like a
It
bitch.
does. Yeah, I lost my dad the day before Christmas Eve, so.
Yep. I was about to say, yeah, I remember that. I remember getting that text message. Just spun over the top of us in Norman, Oklahoma. Huh?
Yeah. You know what, Scott? I was just watching Reed Timmer before I came on. How's the what's it like down there? Is News 5 on live following it? How bad is it?
Wait, is there a tornado going on down there?
Yeah, down in Oklahoma,
Well, yeah.
there's like an outbreak of tornadoes, correct?
It's
Oh, okay.
I was watching it on radar earlier this evening. Since I
Yeah, he
did it
was
at work.
just on saying that something was spinning up.
I seen his post earlier today
Actually,
talking about Oklahoma.
yeah,
Wow.
they a couple
Oklahoma.
weeks ago they had like a little system that went through that had spun up a few tornadoes and kind
Yes,
of
it
down in
did.
the Broken Arrow area.
You know what? And speaking of that, we just, in a very uncommon part of Ohio, we just had a really decent tornado.
I saw that when they
Yep.
showed that south of Canton.
Yeah. South of Canton.
Yeah, well, that was actually North Canton that tornado hit in,
Mm.
which
Mm,
is only from Massillon to North Canton is only like a 45, I wouldn't even say 45-minute drive. That's maybe a 35-minute drive.
well, good thing you
Yeah.
weren't there.
Well, it didn't get into
Tornadoes are no
Massillon.
joke though, man. Like they're rough.
Yeah. They
Oh,
come at you.
And especially ones at night, and if they're rain
Yep.
wrapped, I mean, it just becomes so dangerous so quickly.
Correct.
right. You guys, so you guys want to see a perk of living in a sober living house?
Sure.
Huh. Funny.
Oh yeah.
Here, let me flip my camera around just to show you the extent of it. Since we're talking about it, oh, I forget how to do this. Hold on.
Do you forget how to do
You know what? Look, damn it.
The cam button in the settings.
it? This man be like video chatting every day, talking about I forgot how.
Yeah, right. Oh, I
There's
forgot.
5 boxes of it. One's open.
Well, I'm sure all these programs get it for free.
Yep.
We
Oh yeah, no,
we
they get
do.
kickbacks, little swag packages and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Drug tests, Narcan, masks, gloves, the essentials.
The essentials, he says.
But this one we don't have to assemble. It's just a nasal spray.
Yeah, that's what most of them are now. They made it really easy for people, which I mean is a good thing, but they should start keeping them in public places.
Yes, they should.
If
I
they're gonna
mean,
give it out free, they need to put it in like a McDonald's or like a gas station or like, you know, they
Absolutely.
should.
Rest stops, rest areas, that sort of thing.
Yeah, if
well,
they're
I
gonna
know.
give it out free to everybody anyway.
Well, I had my last box on me on Saturday. I ain't gonna tell anybody this. It was Saturday night, Sunday. Like it was around like anywhere between 11 and 1:30, 11 at night to 1:30 in the morning. We had a dude actually overdose on the bus.
Sad.
He used when he got
They
into
be
the
doing it
trans.
everywhere now though. I mean, there's no like there used to be like in the 2000s and 90s there used to be like discretion with hard drug use. Now there's absolutely no discretion whatsoever.
No, there isn't.
Do you know what?
Mm-mm.
Here's the thing though. So the dude used in the bathroom at the Greyhound station in Chicago, and we just all boarded onto the bus, and he was sitting by himself, and he nodded out and fell over.
Yeah, and
And
especially now everything has that carfentanil or norfentanil or all these analogs that are just ridiculously potent.
exactly, and a lot of people were
It's
freaking
not
out, going,
normal. Like the people of 20 years ago who know what opioids are cannot even understand what this shit is.
Yeah.
right,
Because it's
exactly. And
not the same. It's not the same. It is as it is. It's a completely different beast.
my mom was even saying 20 years ago it was so much more different.
Like heroin and everything else, like people were like nodding out and turning into complete zombies like they do on these fentanyl analogs. Because it's not true fentanyl. It's not fentanyl that your doctor would prescribe. It's these Chinese research drug analogs that are cheap
Yep.
that
Right,
you can reconstitute from online. And then they keep changing the analog so that basically it becomes undetected and technically not illegal.
Yep.
And that
yep,
changes the potency, and it's never been tested on human beings. So when these people get it, they're the guinea pigs. And these people aren't scientists, nor are they compound pharmacists. where they need to have specialized scale equipment and things. There could be a way to do it safely, but that's not occurring. If these people weighed the carfentanil, could do spectrometry to make sure the shit's pure and how much carfentanil is in it, there's a way they could cut this into drugs to be profitable. But this just like home street pharmacy shit, it's gonna kill millions of people.
Well, because here's the
I
thing that
had heard from a friend that somebody around here, not too far from where I live, is able to buy ounces of it.
well,
That
see,
could kill a small fucking city.
Right.
yeah,
Like,
'cause
honestly,
see,
that could probably kill like the Minneapolis if you distributed that shit in the air.
well, see, here's the thing. People think that Narcan can reverse a fentanyl overdose, right?
Not
No,
really. That
Nar
shit's like super fucking like on steroids. It's like Hulk shit. So it's like people get 5, 6 hits of Narcan and don't necessarily come out of it.
Correct.
Narcan only blocks your opiate receptors.
And that's so because this is an analog research drug, it doesn't hit necessarily on the same receptors. True fentanyl would. Like
Yeah.
fentanyl that like I was taking before, like a prescribed patch or pill, Narcan will bring you back from that, an OD from that.
Yep.
But it will not bring you back from these analogs, which is the difference. They're not the same drug. They're chemically similar, but not the same chemical components if you break it down.
Exactly. And like when homeboy overdosed, you know, my kit that Ohio gives you have to assemble real quick. And you have 2 vials in it, so in case you need the second one. I hit the second one, I hit the first one just straight through one nostril, didn't have time to go through both, just straight shot, didn't bring them out, sternum rubs, chest compressions real quick. Hit him with the second one, dude. He popped out the second one coming up swinging, going like, "Oh, what happened?" We're like, "Where am I?" I'm going like, "Dude, EMS is on the way. You just literally OD'd on a bus." Like, he goes like, "What the hell?" Who put that up?
I didn't mean to. It auto corrected and then sent.
Moving
Right.
to Alabama in a Christian sober living facility.
Yeah,
But no.
so somebody asked what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, my phone's on the charger and I have my Bluetooth in. That's kind of why I'm not seeing the
Well,
chat
and so
because,
you should be paying attention to comments because it's your show, right?
well,
Yeah.
I have the phone moved back towards me now.
You better
But
put it up.
no, this sober living facility I'm gonna say isn't bad. It's $500 a month. Um, everybody here works. There's about to be a total of 8 of us on Tuesday. We just got a new guy tonight, and we're getting a new guy next Tuesday.
Do
So,
people come locally or is it like people from all over like you?
most of the people in this house are here from Alabama. I am the only one from out of state, which when I did my interview here, they all thought it was kind of weird that, hey, like, look, someone from Ohio is trying to get into a sober living house. But once I explained my
I could see
situation,
that.
they went like, oh, okay, I get it.
But you had friends that you knew, right?
Yeah, Brandon and Delilah were the two people that got me really connected down here once I stepped foot into Alabama.
Okay.
Um, um, and NA, a couple people from NA were the reasons I got my bus ticket. Was the reason I was even able to get a bus ticket here. Delilah and them bought it for me, put it in my name. I printed it off at Shane and Teresa's house on Thursday. And then here's the funny thing about that, dude. I told Shane and Teresa actually it was Friday. Take that back. It was this past, not this past Friday, the Friday before. Hi, Darren.
Evening, Darren.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good
You know what?
evening to you.
You know what? Here's the weirdest thing that I'm really enjoying about being in Alabama is I'm on the same time zone as you guys, so it's not trying to remember what time it is down there, or calculate an hour back. I know when I'm calling you guys. It's literally I'm calling at the same time that it is for me. You know what I mean? Because before, like, I had to kind of remember,
Yeah.
like, oh, like, crap, it's 4 o'clock in the morning for me, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning for TLO. Now, when I look at my phone, I'm like, oh shit. So when one of us try to contact each other, it's like, oh, we don't got to remember different time zones.
No, it does simplify things.
It does. It really does. It also, I don't know, man. I love it here, and Southern hospitality is real. I'm just gonna put it to you like that.
It can be, yes.
And I don't know, man. It's I really like it here, and I really enjoy it here in Alabama. And I'm permanently staying here. I'm gonna go up and see Dean every other month. About every 2.5, 3 months, I'm gonna go see Dean for a week and go spend time with my little man. So it's not like I'm missing. It's not like I'm missing much.
No, you're not. You've got everything you need. We're glad you're here, Darren. We're glad you made it in.
Yes.
I'm good, Pam. Looking after a friend who had a stroke back in June. Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's terrible. You hear that?
I'm so sorry to hear that,
So,
but
in my exciting news, everyone, I got my house and I'm very
yes.
excited. And I got my own land now. And so I have my farm. And so I'm here and I'm starting to move my things in. And so things are looking up for me. So finally, after this year of hell, I've turned it around. That's why I haven't been around much. So I appreciate you guys for sticking with us because now we're about to have some new changes. One of our old hosts, Tara Eveland, is going to come back in more of like a management capacity and help me with the website. Tim's going to get back his button gear. So things are about to be changing around here and around the FRN network, and we're going to about to be back in business and ready to go. So just stay tuned for some big interviews, some big names. We're going to be switching things up. It's time for us to come back. I'm even going to try to see if somebody can help us build an app so that we can go live from the app so we don't have to worry about as much censorship and quote unquote misinformation. So just stay tuned because we're going to try to get this done in the next couple of months and come out with a bang. So get ready.
Do you know what? I have somebody for that, Scarlett. I just thought of somebody. My buddy Jared, who's on the tech team for church, is the one who helped get the app steady for 180. So, which is actually really cool. So I'll talk to him tomorrow when he picks me up.
That, Darren. We'll chit chat. Me and Darren have been chit chatting about things, so he's been a great help, and we might help him start producing his own videos so that he can put some garden information out for everybody.
Right, that would be actually awesome to really see.
Yeah. He's got a lot of experience, so might as well utilize what we know for video series, for whatever we can do to help each other. We need to educate each other and come up with our own library of information, and that's why I said I want it off of the popular places so that we can have total access and control over it. And not keep playing these censorship games because I know it's only gotten worse since we haven't been here. So, I'm not disillusioned to that.
It has. I've watched Alex Jones get censored. I've watched.
I watched people who just do movie reviews get censored. So,
Pastor Greg Locke, which is a pastor out of Tennessee, his Twitter got shut down. He got banned permanently from Twitter.
I actually saw that in the news.
Yeah,
Graham Allen, who's running for senator in North Carolina, he got shadow banned on Facebook for like 2.5 months. None of us were seeing the stuff.
That's not fair either when they're like a candidate. You know what I mean? Because
it seems very sus that right before you're going to be doing your campaign,
I can maybe understand John Q. Public getting censored. Even that is a little extra, but a candidate.
Yeah, exactly. And the timing is just way too sus.
And
I
then
mean, that shit sucks.
I've seen us here get censored. You know, I've seen videos from
Oh, we've gotten censored, but we've been pretty good about not getting hit too hard. But it has happened, and so
right.
we do
It's
have
all
to be
our
careful. And
videos.
so I'm coming up with other plans.
It's all our videos from last year that are getting hit. None really from this year. Besides one that Tim did this year that got hit
Well, of course.
like the day after. It's Tim though.
Well, and I don't know how they're going to try to hit our videos from last year because most of them were science based, and we read the studies on air. So it's just like I don't even understand. And they claim in their new policy that they will accept that.
Right.
That's what they said.
Yeah,
It's
that's
weird.
what they always say.
Like we
But
know they
no,
all lie, but that's what they said.
right. So, you know what? Here's the thing. Censorship is a bitch. It sucks. It's something that none of us want to deal with, especially like me or Tim or Scarlett or TLO, because us three last year, God, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, what, for 4 or 5 straight months, every day we were on air for hours on end?
Like this year sucks. I was homeless. Like this year sucks. I had to spend lots of money. Like that we didn't have that I didn't know how we were gonna survive. Like this year sucks.
This year has sucked. Hi, Casimiro, we miss you.
Oh, hi, Casimiro. I can't even see that coming on.
Yeah.
Oh,
This year has definitely sucked. This year has not been
Yeah, it is
the
definitely not an
greatest.
improvement on last year. Not even close.
And I mean, it sucks. And I've tried to be, you know, super positive, and I've tried to stay, upbeat. But it's been really hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's been really hard.
Right, like 2020 came to really like kind of break us down, but
2021 was worse.
that's
2020
what I'm
was
saying.
fine.
2020,
I mean, like
2021
my
has
dad died
really.
at the end, but that was pretty much almost the year was over by then, so it didn't really count.
I'm really going that 2021 has literally tried to take a lot of us out.
Yeah, it was rough for a lot of people. Um, not saying that things will get better, but I just feel at this point, for me, at least, things are better.
You know what? I can say the same for me. My life is actually looking up for once.
Yeah. I mean, things are just coming into place and things are just happening. And, we're getting our life back together slowly after having it torn apart this
God,
year.
what, Scarlett? It was like what, 2 days before that you got the house that I was getting ready to leave for Alabama.
Yeah. And I mean, it took forever to close on this house. Like, there was a time where I didn't think we were going to, and they were telling us we weren't going to, and the funding was going to fall through, and just like every bad thing that could happen.
Right.
So it was just like, and we worked on this house all summer, painting it, getting it ready to pass inspection because we knew it quite wouldn't pass inspection. So we did so many things to this house to get it done. We spent so much money to paint it. But now all these things are done. And so our house looks really nice. And so, we did a good job. It's a smaller house, but it's something to start out in.
Yeah, and I got to see Scarlett's live video of the house, and I'm going like, yay!
Yeah, I'll have to maybe do a shorter little video for everybody else, but
Yeah, you should.
Whoever knows, maybe go live off the Freedom Revolution Facebook page.
A tour of the new digs.
Right, the new FRN farm, man.
Yep, Freedom Revolution at Wood Farms.
The Freedom Farm.
Yeah, that has a good name to it, TLO.
Yeah, I was just gonna call it Freedom Revolution Farms.
Migto, what is up, my legend?
Good evening, Migto.
we're getting a lot of people popping in tonight. This is a good feeling for
I,
all three of
I
us
can't
being
even
back.
see any of these comments. This sucks.
Well, this
Why can't
I don't know. It's not loading. It's showing that we have new comments, but it's not showing me these new comments.
I'm seeing
Well,
the comments.
it's just you then, Scarlet.
What's the
But
hustle?
now to the bread and butter of the show. So I don't know how to break this one, Scarlet. Let's see if I can break this one. So, as everybody knows, well, you guys will know, me and Scarlett have been following the Gabby Petito case ever since she came up missing, right before her body was found. So, there's been an interesting few things that have happened this week regarding the Gabby Petito case and the possible finding, or from what they're now saying, of Brian Laundrie. They're saying that the DNA on the skull does not match Brian's DNA, right? But Scarlett, are you still with us? Nope, she dropped out and she left. But I'll let Scarlett. That's because you're on Facebook, Mindy. If you want to go over to YouTube, you'll see everybody else's comments on the page. So Tilo, are you still with me?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Scarlett, you
There
here?
we go.
Okay. So we're just now breaking into the Gabby Petito case, and Scarlett has made a few good points that I want her to kind of bring out and bring to life, because she can explain it in a better way that she's done with me. So Scarlett, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Give me a second. I wasn't ready yet.
She's never ready. See, she's never
Well,
ready.
that's just I mean, we were just talking.
Neither are
I'm on
you, man.
I'm on my bullshit today. I haven't been on bullshit in a while. Dwayne's on
Oh,
bullshit.
obviously, it's better than the apartment. Like, but I lived on 40 acres for a year too on a lake, so
I will post a
there was
link of the
that.
YouTube
But
right
I'm
now for you.
glad that I have my own place now, and I have my own acreage, and I can have my own animals.
How do I post a link for the YouTube, guys? I don't know how to do this.
Going into YouTube,
Okay. I'm in YouTube.
then go to share. Go like
Not
on
letting
your
me.
app,
Okay, I'm gonna share.
like you're
Okay,
watching
there we
something.
go. I
Yeah.
got this. I'm sorry. I'm.
Yeah, what's wrong
Y'all,
with
y'all.
you? I would ask if you were high, but you're in the sober living place.
No, I'm just losing my godforsaken mind for once in my life.
Hmm.
Copy link. There we go. Oh, wrong one. And then
Oh,
I
boy.
will. Look, damn it,
Oh, Dwayne.
Dwayne. Will...
Damn, that's fucked up, MGTOW.
Yes, it is. But there's a lot
That's
of
fucked up. I'm so sorry you lost your
crazy
job, bro.
BS with the job market and the
Yeah, but there's
mandates and all that
jobs
sort
though.
of shit.
Honestly, they're calling this the Great Resignation. And they've been saying that there are so many jobs for people that people have been just basically picking and choosing why the unemployment numbers are so off.
Yes, I believe it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can see that. Sorry, as you can
That people
tell.
are fighting for competitive rates because
Mhm.
everywhere is lowballing, or a lot of places are. Fuck, I saw some places in Alabama that were like $23 at McDonald's an hour.
The
Yep.
thrift store I'm going to starts you off at $12 an hour.
But $20 an hour for McDonald's, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not going back to McDonald's. We all see how that worked out last time.
I don't give a shit. I would work at McDonald's for $20 an hour.
I'm not doing that again.
But
Fuck
see,
that.
that's the difference between you, Scarlett, and a lot of the youngins that are running around. They feel entitled to better. And so if they were to work at McDonald's, they would expect to be paid like $50 an hour because that's their mentality. But
Look,
That's
man,
what
no,
I
that's not.
mean.
That's not even the thing.
that is a huge
Even
thing. because
McToast,
there's
like it's tough to find a job that pays $22 an hour. Like honestly,
Oh,
like it's really hard to find a higher
Yeah.
paying job that pays like $25 an hour.
Okay,
Right.
but here's the thing that I want y'all to see. The only reason my ass ain't going back to McDonald's because I've seen the conditions of McDonald's. I've worked in the back of the kitchen.
Yeah.
I see
For
how they treat people.
$20 an hour, it's worth
that's
the
part of the reason
bullshit.
why. Yeah, that's
Bro,
part of the
if
reason
I
why they're
wanted
profitable.
$20 an hour, I would have stayed at Cedar Point.
That is not worth the $20. McDonald's is worth the $20. You got to understand value of work, Dwayne, like, and understand work's gonna suck anywhere you work.
Correct.
You know what? But here's the thing, man. I don't want one of them $20 an hour jobs. I don't.
You're gonna need one to live, Dwayne.
Yes.
You can't live on $12 an hour.
No.
For 80 hours a week, yeah, I can.
No,
For
you're not
for
going to get
80
80
hours in
hours
2
a week.
weeks.
You're going to have two separate jobs otherwise because there's no way. And that's only $24 an hour total working 80 hours a week when you could work fucking 40 hours a week at one job for 20. What the fuck is wrong with you, Dwayne?
I'm
What
not
is wrong with
going.
you?
I'm
No,
not
see,
going back to McDonald's.
Scarlett, that's the mentality I'm talking about.
Yeah,
is
look at what's wrong
the
with these
short
kids of
term.
today. Like they don't want to work. Like
Now
McDonald's
wait the
isn't
hell a
even hard
minute.
work.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
even
not
that
the.
much. It's not even that big of a deal. Like there are worse jobs in life than that. If you think that's the worst thing, like bro, like
Yeah.
wait till you live. Just wait till you
Okay,
live.
so listen. The job that I have, I don't care what anybody fucking says. Anybody with this job, we are mission based. We have 5 centers over. Literally, there's 3 in Africa. No, 4 in Africa, and there's 1 in Haiti, and there's about to be another one breaking ground this month in Haiti
Well,
because
that's
of the fact.
wonderful, Dwayne. I'm just saying, if these jobs, I saw an Arby's that was paying like fucking $25 an hour. If these fast food places start paying that much, fuck that. I'd be working at fast food because that means 20-year-olds are making more than most people, than most nurses, than most people.
Yes.
See, and
Teachers.
that's why I won't. That's why I
And
will
these
not
little
take a job.
20-year-olds are going to be rich and they're going to be, that's not going to work.
See, that's
Fast
why
food is not that bad, Dwayne. You need to get over whatever like entitlement you think. Like, I don't care if you have to dig holes for a living. Like, that's what you have to do to survive. Like, you
Okay,
got to
but
start
here's
thinking
my
in that
thing.
mentality.
Why would I take a 20 an hour job at McDonald's when our nurses and paramedics and our police officers aren't even getting paid that?
Because
And
you
I'm
need money
flipping
to live,
burgers.
Dwayne. What's wrong
Correct.
with you?
And are you going to
You
be
need to
able to
save money
qualify
for
as
your
a cop or
future.
a
You need to
teacher?
save money for your child. You need to save money for everything. You need money, Dwayne. That's why. Why wouldn't you? Like, it's great to fight for fair wages and all, but bro, you got to get your paper too. So if these places start pumping out those type of prices, you better put that freaking visor on and say, how can I help you? Like, because that's a lot of money. People who
I
are
know,
skilled and even have degrees don't make that much money.
Yeah.
And you could
Most
be
often.
banking, have a nice place, have a nice car, and move yourself up in life off of really remedial work.
bro. Like,
Like
look,
fast
here's
food is
my
remedial.
It is. And yeah, you have to
bro.
deal with assholes, but you have to deal with
Yeah,
assholes.
you do. And
If
that's true.
if
But now half the fast food places, you don't even have to interact with customers besides the drive through.
That's
bro, if I
that's
go,
true as well. There's a lot less interface between actual
Yeah.
people.
A lot of the
bro,
orders are online only. Like they're opening up like certain Taco Bells, like that one in Minneapolis, that's not even going to have contact with
Yep.
people.
Correct. There's a Taco Bell that'll
bro,
be basically run by machines.
Correct.
bro,
There are
like,
people in the kitchen cooking the food and putting it down like a dumb waiter, but there's like nobody you interact with. There's just screens you order off of.
bro, like, here's my
Kind of
thing.
takes me
I'm
back to
going,
the olden times. If
and
anybody
I'm
Right?
gonna,
remembers, there used to be
and I'm gonna,
places kind of like cafes, but they were called something else.
look,
And you'd
Okay.
actually get your food, and they were already pre-prepared little meals, and you just walk up and choose a meal, and it was just sitting there, and you take it out of a little thing. It used to be in movies. It used to be big in the 50s and 60s. I forgot what they used to call them. I think they're like carousels or some shit like that. But you would go in there and be like, oh, hey, there's a ham sandwich. Like, here, I'll pay.
Oh, Darren. Speaking of, Darren, they said this week, and I can't confirm this because I haven't looked it up online, but they said Chipotle went completely digital and are no longer accepting cash payments. Like you have to order online if you want cash, like if you want food from like, there's going to be no way to order in the store anymore.
I can confirm one of the stores here in Alabama does that.
Yeah. Now, what does that do for people who don't have access to cards? Because a lot of these cards are ridiculous.
Yes.
Like they charge you, like, you know, to exist. And then like you got to pay to like put it on the card. And then you got to be able to get somewhere to put it on the card. You know what I mean? Like that's about to cut a lot of people out of Chipotle. Now I get a lot of people have Cash App and this and that and all that. But it's forcing you to go into that type of system.
Correct.
Like Cedar Point next year will no longer carry cash. We will have ATMs. Only reason I know because I'm thinking about going back there next year. Thinking, not confirmed. Thinking, just for the season, so I can go be near my kid for a couple months. We'll have ATMs stashed out, and they're already in the park to where you go put the cash in. They'll spit you out a debit card,
right?
And you use it throughout the park.
Oh, that you scan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not that you scan it. Will have a magnetic strip on the back where you can swipe it.
Yeah, that's scanning it. Same thing. That's what I'm saying. Like you're using it somewhere at a point.
Scan or swipe is the same.
Yeah, same thing.
And another thing is the reason Cedar Point is now doing that is because of the fact Kings Island did the switch. I'm also
when I
seeing
was
in a
at
lot
these
of
little carnivals, when I went to Fargo to this little carnival, that was obviously a traveling carnival. The rides and the concessions had this like Carnival Magic app you had to download, and that was the only way you could add money to do attractions and or do the rides. And like it had to be digital, and like you had to, they did have machines where you could load the money in, but half of them didn't work. And then the other one you had to download the app. And then they made it to where like the rides weren't like ever even, so you could never use all of it. And it was a real big hassle, to be honest. Like it made me not even want to like let my kids go on rides because it was honestly, we sat there for like 30 minutes.
Well,
that sounds
like
problematic.
Well,
it is problematic.
Well, like because
what if people aren't as literate, or what if somebody doesn't have a phone, or what if somebody's phone dies? You know, while they're at a carnival.
That's the biggest thing is if somebody's phone dies, because obviously if you're using it constantly
or breaks,
you
know, a lot of times the software shits out at times. It's like that's not usable. So there's all going to be concerns.
Well, I've always had concerns since the get-go when we started going into digital. That's why I always still carry cash. Because what does happen in digital of something bad like a EMP from a CME happens, and then all of that gets wiped.
And then the electrical system goes down and no ATMs.
You won't have any access to it. You won't have any way to track it. Yeah, exactly. That's why
day one we have a CME. We don't have gas. We don't have banks. We don't have a lot of things.
Well, trust me, people, especially in
Not
this
even
day
help
and
you
age,
at.
they would lose their minds over Facebook before losing gas. Trust me.
Well, like here's
Well,
my
gas
thing, and I
would be
want to.
done day one if we had a CME because you have to have electric to pump it.
Yes, unless you had, I forgot what it's called. But I
Gas
know because
stations don't have manual pumps.
No, you'd have to have somebody who's a mechanic who knows, and they would have.
Yeah, like otherwise you're not getting gas day one. Money would be if you had cash. Some places would accept it, I guess, until there wasn't any more cash, and then because that would be in shortage because all the time everybody would need it,
Yep. And then people would
and you need
rush
to be
out to get
online for an
it.
ATM.
Yeah.
So even if you get electric, you need internet.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Is resting it
So
all in
it's
this
like
digital world is kind of foolhardy.
it
Well, like, see, here's
absolutely
my thing.
is.
And yeah, I think I saw in the comments a little earlier that that was one of the references too with the job market. Is a lot of people think that they can just live off of making bitcoins and being influencers or this and that. And like, I'm sorry, but
That's what I
there's
mean. But
what,
if we
7
get a
people on this
CME, we
planet.
lose
Not
that all.
everybody. There's no way everybody's going to be a millionaire because they have an online presence. I'm sorry, that's just not how the world works.
No,
Or
exactly.
will it
Which
happen?
is
No.
like, no shit. Scarlet's going in and out.
Yeah. Well, there is a
No,
system
I
that
just
is
stopped
coming.
talking.
There is a
Well,
system
like,
that's moving in soon.
so here's my thing, and a lot of people don't realize this, right? Is like one of the reasons why like I gave up the reality of being, a streamer, like with all these big time streamers, right? Because that's not living in reality. That's not living, in the here and now, which is why like being in Alabama, which is why getting a job like I am and doing what I need to do to get by for now until I can get a license in a car and get a better paying job is this. It's like I have to live in reality, and I'm gonna be honest,
Yes.
man. I'm just gonna tell you this from seeing the
Shit is
reality of some
getting
of these
real.
kids, seeing the reality of some of these kids here in Alabama. Like, I'm going to tell y'all a quick short story just to show you the reality of some of these kids here in the state of Alabama. It is fucking ridiculous. I was in church on Sunday. I left the media room to go get a donut and something to drink before it was my turn to run the cameras. I was telling Scarlett this before somehow I lost poor Scarlett. Don't know how that happened. But anyways, this 16-year-old, she freaking I get into the hallway and shit where the donuts and stuff are at. This little freaking what did you call her, Scarlett? Thought?
Yeah, these
Something
new
like that.
chicks, these new young chicks be thoughts. I
Vicious
hate to
She
say that
behavior.
little
about children, but they're not the same.
she literally bends down enough in front of me, like 5, 6 feet in front of me, to where I can see literally her whole chest. And I went like I put my head down and I walked forward because of the fact. Here's the thing, dude. Like this newer generation that is coming after me is just fucking. Well, coming after it's after my sister's generation. Sorry, after my sister's generation is fucking stupid.
Quite right.
Like all
Your
these
generation's
kids.
slow, Dwayne.
It's not that slow. I was born in '98. At least we're
Yeah, it
not the
is.
ones that.
Kilo, back me up. Back me up, Kilo.
Well, here's my
I
thing. At
can
least we're
barely
not
hear
the
you.
These
ones.
Gen, these Gen Z fuckers ate time
Ah,
tots and shit, Dwayne. How do you know?
yeah,
See,
he's
I don't.
just on
I
the
don't classify as a Gen Z. That's my thing.
Well, that's what you are.
I don't act like these Gen Z kids. Ever since I turned
Oh,
18,
that's
I started
you.
working.
I'm not saying that you are even close to those kids.
Yeah,
But what I
just saying
am
that's your
saying
generation.
is your generation's pretty fucked up, bro. Like, millennials are kind of fucked up too, but they're kind of bad.
Scarlet, move
Like,
back towards your
everybody has their
booster, hon.
bad points. And Gen Z has been the most entitled, rude, snotty, shitty group on everybody.
Hey, Scar, you're sounding robotic. How far are you away from your?
Yeah, I can barely make
right
out.
by it. Nothing I can do. I live in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing I can do.
Oh, we're going to have to deal with
All
it
I
until
do is
our
get
signal
phone
breaks.
service right now.
All right.
I can do.
But these kids, man, and I'll tell you what, these kids were asking me because they seen me cleaning up the church. They seen me cleaning up,
Well,
they
and
see
this
me
is a
cleaning up.
child, McToe. This ain't even a woman, though. That's what makes it
Nah,
different. This is a child.
this is a child, and like these kids see me. I stay after church. I help clean the church up. I help put the food up. I help make sure that we get like the pink lemonade and everything back into the original container. So we have it for like Wednesday or Friday. Um, and they go like, "Oh, you don't have to do that." And I tell these kids like, "Look, motherfuckers, like I've been working since I was 18 years old. I've had a job. Like I don't sit on my butt like you kids do and stay inside all day. I actually like going outside. I actually like going down to the lake. I actually like going and doing things that normal people do on a daily fucking basis." And these kids look at me going like, he's stupid or he's crazy or he's psychotic.
Most of them just look at you stupid because they are
Yeah.
aforementioned entitled shits.
Right. And like
That's what I'm
this
saying.
one girl,
They all just think they can do whatever they want. Like,
right, like
wow.
there's this one young girl that I work with at church, and she actually is a part of our media team.
Okay.
And I was working with her on Sunday. I have never met a 14-year-old that is actually open to constructive criticism. When you come over a mic, go like, look, go more to the right. I don't know how many times I've had to tell you, move that camera back over to the right, lock it until the pastor moves, and don't move. I'll let you know when you got to move again. She went like, okay. She met me. This is our first time working together. She met me after service. She's going like, look, thank you literally so much because I had no clue of what I was doing for a hot minute.
Well, that's it. They just go through life meandering with no point or no direction.
True.
And I mean,
yeah, a lot of them are in jobs that they don't even have any fucking clue about. That's
well,
the
and
worst.
she's right, and she's never. Pastor really doesn't move that much, and Pastor was walking around a lot that day.
That, of course.
And yeah, it was one of them days where he was walking around a lot, which he started doing more. But I told her just going like, look, if you have a question, just pull your mic on your headset down and just ask me like, hey, what do I do?
Right. But these kids don't even be taught like
well,
normal,
yeah, they
normal
hate
functions.
they hate to ask because that would admit defeat, and they think they're all that, all this and that. As
you know what?
Scarlet refers to as tots, oh my god, they're
Thoughts.
no, that's giving tots like bad.
No, thoughts, TLO, thoughts, THOT.
Thought.
THOT. Yeah, thoughts.
Yeah, no, I know. I call them tots because I call them tater tots.
And when she met me in person for the first time, she started asking questions, going like, "Hey, like when he's moving really quick, this camera's really easy to move. Like the handle's actually really easy. It's really smooth." And I told her, just you don't completely have to follow him. Just gradually follow him. Make sure you're lined up with them. There's a piece of paper up on the screen of the camera to show that you're centered. Make sure you're centered with him, and when he moves, just move again. I'm right there if you get lost. That's my job of being back on the panel and switching angles and everything is to help you get a best angle that I can on him. So do not hesitate to go like, Dwayne, I'm stuck. Or, hey,
Right.
Dwayne, is Jared sitting beside you? Like, can you hand him the headset? Like, I told her, I'm not going to yell at you. And because of that, she just went through a really bad breakup with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend literally broke up with her one day. And that day and the next day had another girl all over him at youth group. And she went like, if I ever need someone just to talk to, like, can I come talk to you? I said, absolutely. I said, do not be afraid to come say anything to me.
Well, these kids are afraid and or just too prideful to say something a lot of times.
Yeah, it's
And
the
need to realize that
ego
there's always
getting in
been
the way.
older people there to help you along the way if you allow it.
Right. And I told her, I was like, look, I always used to be afraid for asking for help. I said, there's one girl in my life, and I told her, Scarlett, it was you that started making me ask for help. If I didn't
Yeah.
ask for help, you would make me sink.
Well, like I said, a closed mouth don't get fed. So you got to be able to ask questions because anybody who's going to shut you down for asking questions is an asshole. But most people are willing to teach and would rather have somebody understand than be lost.
Right. Like,
It's all
and,
about experience. And if you
right.
can't
Like,
experience it yourself, somebody can't just tell you always. A lot of things have to have experience.
right. And, like, she asked me if this was my first time ever doing something like this. I said, this? Yes. Now, was I asking questions all the time? Like, every 5 minutes, was I asking a question like, hey, am I doing this right? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay because you'd rather be doing it right than doing it wrong.
Right. And, like in the mornings before we start our service, I will pull down the mic on my headset and I'll go like, good morning, camera two. Let's have a great service. And I will see you at the end of the day, at the end of service. I
Yeah.
don't know your name all the time because the fact I don't always look at the schedule to see who's working with me like I should.
Oh, and I'm sure there's not millions of smart ones, Darren, but it seems like the majority and what the narrative and what most people put out there is this superficial group of people that just really are entitled, and it's honestly terrible. And maybe it's not like that in Australia. Maybe this is an American thing.
No,
Oh no,
I,
it's spreading.
It
yeah,
is
it's
spreading,
slowly
but
spreading.
maybe it's more concentrated here than over there.
It
I
is.
follow
That
quite
I
a
will
few
say.
Australian YouTubers, and they talk about this.
I could see
Yeah.
that.
And and here's the thing too, this younger generation, when I was growing up, I was never afraid to ask for help.
No.
No matter what it was. My mom always instilled in me that no matter what I was going through, no matter what issues I was having, hey, swallow your pride and ask for help.
Yep.
Like there's nights that I'm going through a mental breakdown and I have to pick up the phone and call Scarlett, going like, hey, can you help me calm down so I can talk about this? And she does. She'll always say before she starts, going like, look, I'm actually glad you asked for help because I was waiting for your phone call either way.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to reach out. People don't know where you are. People aren't mind readers, so they don't know how you're feeling or where you are
Exactly, and that's what this
until they
newer
tell
right, and this is what this newer young and fuck this newer generation needs to understand is like people that are like 9, 10 years older than you have a lot more experience than you do.
them.
People that have been alive 20 or 30 more years have more experience than me.
Not that everybody knows better, but just take into consideration that they might have experienced this before you did.
Right, and like Anne asked me like, hey, how do I deal with the fact that I'm so angry and pissed off at my boyfriend? I said, kill him with kindness. Someone comes up and says, oh, aren't they cute together? Go like, yeah, smile and walk away. It's gonna hurt like shit inside, but guess what? At the end of the day, he's gonna realize that His loss is somebody else's success. She was like, I never thought about that. And I said, Macklemore said it best. Another man's trash is another man's treasure.
Well, yeah, because there's different strokes for different folks. The beauty's in the eye of the beholder type shit.
And when I said that, I had to tell her, like, look, I'm not calling you trash. I'm quoting somebody.
Well, and not everybody's cup of tea either. So I mean, people need to stop acting like everybody's going to be everybody's cup of tea. Oh my god, TLO, 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 TLO.
Yes.
You trying to go to Dave Chappelle?
Oh, about the Dave Chappelle? Well, everybody knows about the Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, but he's coming.
I didn't know this. When is he coming?
He's coming to do. Isn't he coming to shoot his documentary or whatever?
I think it's a showing of it with like a comedy show with it.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is. It's a screening.
Mm-hmm.
When is this?
Like the 6th of November.
Yeah, I was about to say next month, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I'll probably end up going. I don't know. We'll see.
I want to go. I just watched that new Netflix special. That was good shit.
No, it is really good.
I can't wait to watch Kevin Hart's new one with Wesley
I really loved Dave Chappelle in that. I mean, he was raw and real, and that's how comedy should be.
Yeah, that is what comedy should be. That's how life should be, is real. But
not canceled.
As we before mentioned, a lot of people are.
You need to watch it, Dwayne, if you haven't watched it.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
What's the name of it?
Shit, what is it called?
Because now I might watch it after the show's over.
You should, because it's funny as hell, and it's like old school comedy. Like, it's like the way it used to be, and he's not politically correct about it. There's a couple
you know
of
I loved watching
really
Dave. Watching Dave Chappelle as a kid was.
And he's unapologetic now, and it's good.
Yeah, his comedy has always been straightforward and raw, like the classic or old Eddie Murphy.
I just watched that special, the Raw special.
Yep, the Raw special.
On Netflix the other day. And then I was watching the Paul.
I miss Cat Williams, to be
I don't
honest.
watch much that's produced nowadays. I honestly
I was watching all the old comedies. I just watched the Kings of Comedy recently too.
Yeah,
and I watched that. Still really relevant and good.
Yeah.
Did anybody hear what I said?
Old Cat Williams too, like
Cat
Williams.
I miss him, dude. Cat Williams is. Oh my god, dude! The
last
shit
special he did wasn't bad, really either. Even with the Trump jokes, like it wasn't that bad.
Good night, Casimiro. Thanks for joining
us. Thank you, Casimiro. I love you.
Good night, Casimiro. Don't work too hard. We'll see you soon.
See you soon, bud. But I'm gonna say this: the shit Cat Williams would say.
Some of that shit was funny.
Oh my god, yes, it was. Some of the shit he would say, like
especially like I said, some of the first specials, like those were good.
No, I'm not even talking about the specials. I'm just talking about his regular.
Like that was good. No, see, some of those specials like defined black culture at the time because that's all we had was that type of shit.
I'm just talking about his regular shit on Comedy Central that I seen.
Yeah, that stuff was okay, but the at-home specials were so much more raunchy.
Yeah, see, with the specials, it's a little less filtered.
Yeah, they were allowed to say a lot more because it was a lot of times put through like HBO or Showtime, and then eventually they started doing like their own releases, and now on Netflix because of like Dave Chappelle. But yeah, at-home comedy special was a big thing for a long time. You would buy these from like all these different comics and watch them.
Yep.
Because that's all you really had because they couldn't put that shit on TV. So like especially like the Jeff Dunhams of the world or just like any Jeff Foxworthy, like any comedian, most either made a comedy CD or made a special.
Jeff Dunham, that's a funny white boy.
Yeah, he was good shit. I liked all his characters.
Yeah.
My dad liked
Yeah.
Jeff Dunham.
I got to see Jeff Dunham live just before COVID, like the year before COVID.
That's pretty cool.
I saw him live too about 7 years ago at Mystic.
See,
that's
my favorite puppet though, and a lot of people call me a fucking terrorist, is because I love the fuck out of Ahmed.
Ahmed's funny though. That shit was funny back when we
Ahmed
needed like a way
is
to laugh
hilarious.
about that shit. He's like,
The other fucking puppet I can relate to is fucking Bubba J.
yeah, he was funny.
Cause it's a roadkill Christmas.
I mean, that was So Jeff Dunham was
That
good.
dumb deer
Yeah, he
saved
could be-
my
That was the
life.
only way
with the
you could
one
get
whose
comedy
family
back
would
then.
love him some Jeff Dunham all the time. That's how I
Dude,
got
Yeah, you had to rent these things, or you had to like sometimes they were pay-per-view specials even.
bro, I remember when oh my god, who the fuck was it? It wasn't him.
George Carlin was a master.
George
Yeah.
Carlin were always good.
He was a fucking master.
Yeah, he's
Kevin Hart.
Comment.
Kevin Hart too is fucking just. He's
Adam
fucking
Sandler
amazing.
used to be good back in the 90s.
You know what? Look, man, I love the fuck out of Adam Sandler, but he's not what he used to be.
No, he was funny in the 90s.
Yes.
He was
absolutely.
like Big
Like the
Daddy and
SNL, Golden Years,
Yep.
all of those guys were really good comedians and went on to do really good shit.
Yep.
you know, the one movie I love by Adam Sandler, there's a couple of them, but the one I really love the most, the first Adam Sandler movie I think I ever seen was Big Daddy.
See, I got to watch all of them as they kind of expanded and how he was popular on SNL and watched all those skits, and everybody always wanted more of that.
My
Saturday Night Live.
favorite Adam Sandler still to this day is The Wedding Singer.
Yes. Yes, that was my second one I was going to say.
That was good. I always liked Happy Gilmore.
See, this is the
Yeah.
order that I
Happy
put.
Gilmore was good because Bob Barker was in it, and as a kid, I
He
loved
whooped his
Bob
ass.
Barker.
This is the order
Bob
that I
Barker,
put.
dude.
This is the order I put my Adam Sandler shows in. It goes Big Daddy, Wedding Singer.
Big Daddy was good though.
Mr.
I
Deeds.
liked Waterboy.
See,
Yeah,
now
Waterboy.
look.
I would put Waterboy ahead of Big Daddy.
Yep,
Yeah, I would too.
Waterboy
Yeah.
was
Waterboy. I every
That shit
time
was
it's
funny.
a Sunday or the Vikings are gonna play or whatever, I usually pop in either the Waterboy or actually The Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard was a good. Do you know what? That one I will put in front of Big Daddy any day. The Longest Yard.
Yeah, that one wasn't just Adam. That was a whole ensemble.
Yeah, that's true. Like if we're
Yeah.
talking
everybody,
the Happy Madison productions like that. I like that.
even Dallas.
And one that's less looked at that I always liked was 51st Dates.
Yes.
That was really good.
Well, it's always hard for that one because it's it's not. It is
was
a comedy,
kitschy,
but it's not
kitschy, and it was kind of weird, and but it was okay.
It's more like a dramedy because there's more drama.
There was a lot of drama, but I did like that.
With 51st Dates, and here's my thing with that movie. And I'm gonna turn my camera on now since I can take it off the charge a little bit. With 51st Dates, when I first went on, when me and Julie had like our first date, like at the house. Yeah. Oh shit, Tia Love's making an appearance.
Oh shit.
Yes,
Come on, Scarlett. Do it, Scarlett.
Y'all are tripping.
You know, me and Julie actually watched that movie for our first in-home date. You know, when I cooked dinner and we sit down and watch that movie because it was on Netflix at the time.
Oh, right. See, I remember when it came out like on video.
The one series that I do like from Adam Sandler though was the Grown Up series. I'm not gonna lie, that was a
Grown
good.
Ups was funny. That was a real comeback for him from like
It
the
was.
90s when he had hella funny movies and he was in every goddamn movie.
That's very true.
And
He was
seeing all the guys get together, like Chris Rock and
Well, see, because they were on
Rob
yeah,
SNL
Schneider.
together.
To be
See,
fair,
they
it
were
was
all on
almost like
SNL together. Rob Schneider, Dana
it was a
Carvey,
proxy for
all
SNL
those
reunion.
guys were on
Yep.
SNL together and did
Yeah.
so many skits together, so much funny shit. Like, you'd have to go back, honestly. I think Peacock lets you watch them, the old SNL episodes that go back to like the 70s. You should go back and watch some of the 90s shit because it is hilarious.
Well, in that the dude that played Wiley from Grown Ups 1 was always in every Adam Sandler movie
Yeah.
that was
Who the
made.
fuck is that? That's probably
Wiley,
somebody
the dude that
Swartzen.
ended up,
who.
the dude that ended,
Nick
dude that ended,
Swartzen, I do believe.
Oh, Nick
yeah,
Schwartz.
Nick
Oh, he
Swartzen.
came later, but I'm talking like the original crew that like
Yeah.
they did their comedy with, that they like started from the bottom and were like bottom of the barrel, you
Right,
know.
like, and then another, fuck, Mr. Deeds was a really good fucking movie.
That was funny. That was funny, but it was
One of my,
okay.
it was one of
Yeah.
my dad's favorite movies growing up, and I watched it on Netflix a couple months ago before they removed it, and I was just, dude, that movie will have you busting, like you will fall off the couch just dying. Hey, let me take a fucking poker to your foot. Can you feel the pain now? No.
Yeah, it's been a while since I saw movies. It was good. It was good.
I missed that shit, man, because that right there was a big part of my childhood. Like
Right.
Cat Williams and Key and Peele and
Key and Peele was
um
pretty in
I was about
childhood
to say
too. This
Key and
is
Peele
not
a lot later after those guys.
well for us, but not for Dwayne. We forget that Dwayne.
not for me. That was growing up in my teens, my 12s, 13s, 14s,
Yeah, see
15s.
what I mean? Dwayne is a child, so like this is like
Dwayne, you are older
Um
than 18 because Key and Peele came
he's
out
like
6 years ago.
22.
I'm
Yeah, he's
23, you
22.
fucker.
So you'd have been like
Yeah.
16. Like, yeah,
I'm
see, so you'd have been like
23,
16,
you
17 when
fucker.
that came out.
I'm 20 fucking 3, not 22. Get it
So
right.
yeah,
Jesus.
it came out
Whatever.
around when you were 18 then.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still.
Shit, at that time, Cat Williams was still fucking coming on TV when I was 12 to 13 years old, and then he fucking got deemed that he was inappropriate.
Well, that's because he went to
Dumbass.
jail and shit.
What
And
fucking
so they,
comedian has not ended up in fucking jail and came back to
I
fucking
mean, I
TV?
don't
Cat Williams was no
know.
fucking exception.
Yeah, I mean, but I forgot what they got him on, like tax evasion or something.
That's
You know what? It's
usually
just
how they
because,
get the black man.
Of course,
see, Lo,
always.
that's what I was just getting ready to fucking say, too. Get the fuck out of my head.
Well, I
It's
mean,
always
Cat
how they.
Williams, Wesley
Dave
Snipes.
Chappelle.
Yeah, Dave
Yeah,
Chappelle.
well, Dave Chappelle left.
Well, yeah,
and I
Dave
don't
Chappelle, they're
blame
just
him.
trying to dig up whatever shit they can find.
That's
basically.
why and the transgender, they tried to say the transgender community was.
Oh, we lost her. Fucking damn it. But fucking another one, TLO, that growing up as a kid was fucking Gabriel Iglesias. Yeah. That was around when I was 11 or 12.
I suppose. I always forget about him because I didn't really find him that amusing.
Give me a second. I'm going to pop in the bathroom. I'm going to mute myself for a minute.
I thought he was too much fluff.
Fucking TLO, too much fluff.
Oh, 57. Where are you at again, Darren? Aren't you across the pond or something? I seem to remember. 57 is good because it's definitely not 57 here in Minnesota. I'll tell you that much. We had snow the other day. not here in the cities, but north of here. That's always fun, having snow in October. But no, 57. That's nice and comfy. Nice and comfy. So how are all of you guys? Because we all have been gone for so long.
Yeah, and I see they have now StreamYard for Business, so we'll have to check that out because that might help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so there's lots of things that we have to do, but I'm not too worried about it. I feel like we'll be able to get it done. We just got to get everybody together and on the same page. And Heather hasn't been around because she is actually doing her doctorate for.
I remember her saying something like that.
Yeah, so she's doing her doctorate right now. So for her to be able to do the show right now is kind of impossible. So she's taking a hiatus right now.
We all need to have another. We all need to have another StreamYard meeting again one day.
You can definitely do a meeting, but like I said, certain people with their shows, like that might not be happening right now. But like I know Tim is definitely coming back. I'm coming back. Like Tara's going to be starting back. Yeah, you're coming back. So like people are going to be coming back, and then obviously once we start getting people set back up, then we can start having people. We can start recruiting again for shows. So we're gonna make it work.
I have Patrick who just called me the other day saying he wants to do one finally.
Well, we'll see. So, and then I met a guy at church who said he wanted to show about some things. So, there's a lot of people who have interest, and we're gonna get things back booted up because everybody's still interested and ready to still be involved.
Speaking of church, Friday I'm gonna do a I'm gonna go on Friday and live stream our play that we're doing for church.
Oh.
It's called Heaven Yes, Hell No. So I figured I'd go on air on Friday.
That'll be cool.
To broadcast that and get people online, or I'll just post the link out. Ugh. All right, so to get in the meat and shit of this show, because I can't get off the fucking topic.
We were just talking about this recently that you were going to be screwed in Australia.
Yeah, fucking
bastards.
No,
what the fuck is our can opener?
That's why I've been watching a few YouTubers based there.
Right, because it's just been really sad what's going on.
Oh yeah, no,
where the fuck did our can opener disappear to? What the fuck?
I don't know, but what are you doing? Are you strangling a duck over there or what?
Who, me? No, I'm looking for a fucking can opener. I'm echoing through Scarlet's phone.
Bullshit.
Now I can hear it. I can actually hear it.
Like,
you have your settings set up for speakerphone. Did you go into more and set it up for speakerphone, not just default? No. So go in there and hit more.
I did that.
Hit audio.
I'm not on speakerphone. I'm on my Bluetooth.
Are you using?
There we go.
Okay.
It's still fucking echoing.
Take off the echo control.
This is how
echo cancellation on.
It's off now.
Well, did you have the automatically adjust mic volume?
Yes, I did.
You need to have
now
those
that's better.
settings.
My echo's gone.
There you go.
Not. What the fuck?
Yeah, because that shit's you, man.
Okay.
And they say if you're having issues,
you guys
need
still hear
to.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can exit out and come back in and try to see if the echo goes away. Yeah, because it's his end. It's not my end, because I checked.
Well, yeah, I don't hear it anymore.
So that's what I'm saying. It's Dwayne.
It might be me.
We know it's you. I know it's you.
Well, yeah, I
It
don't
was
hear
me.
it.
No,
I don't either. Late night snack at 1:54 in the fucking morning.
is that a late night snack?
Well, it is nice to have Dwayne on the same hour as
Yeah, that is true. I will give it that. That has been nice.
All right, now my phone's just.
Whoa.
Hello.
Hello, Dwayne.
Hello, Dwayne.
Back to my earpiece. Fucking. You fucking son of a bitch.
Oh, Darren. City
Yeah,
Watson
Scarlett.
is one. She recently moved to Americas, I do believe, in the last few years. So, but there's another one, real, very proper British type Australian girl. She talks about actually. I have to remember her name. I actually have
Well, remember, most Aussies are British. They like imported themselves there.
Yes, most of them are from
They're
the
like a couple generations
monarchy of the
now. Yeah, but still, that's kind of what they all
Yeah,
have
convicts
incentives.
mostly, correct.
Like in the 60s and 70s, they had incentives to move over there, and they got like housing allowances and
Oh yeah.
little shacks to live in. And a lot of them got screwed over though, because a lot of them were promised all these like benefits that they never got, and then they got basically sent over there, and they ended up being poor and shit.
Yep. Ain't that the truth?
Yep. So it was actually
So, all right, guys.
talk about the GABBY PETITO case
That's where we're getting to.
during this time. And so this is something that a lot of people have been following, including us.
I was late to it.
Yeah, Dwayne was late to it.
Not by much.
Red and I were following it pretty much from the beginning because I was in a group that it follows for Summer Wells, one of this little girl who went missing. And so immediately they started talking because they follow one other case too, the Evelyn Boswell case. And so they had started talking about GABBY PETITO, so I started following this case right away. Right? And so she's the young girl that was with her boyfriend in Grand Teton National Park that went missing, and then he went missing, and then she was found in Grand Teton National Park dead, and then he is now supposedly found dead as well. Okay, now there's been a lot of people who have basically been internet sleuths about this case who have found out a lot of details. The internet has been really instrumental in solving this case. You know, people always want to talk shit about these internet sleuths and everyday, citizen journalists, but these people solved the case. Because without the YouTube family, who were full-time RVers who did videos, they would have never known that the van was there and had proof that the van was there. So, they always talk shit, but look what ended up happening. But that's not the point.
That's where Dwayne came in.
How I found out. I started getting into the case when I was telling you about like all these things that had happened, right? And how like they had been fighting and there was body cam footage, and how it was really sketchy because now he's supposedly at home but took her vehicle back to Florida, all these things. But things that we don't have, right? Number one, nobody's ever seen the video footage supposedly of Florida Dot when they scanned his license plate and supposedly took a picture over the bridge as he came into Northport. Number one. So we can't even prove necessarily that he's the one who drove back. Number two, supposedly he went on a camping trip with his family on September 6th, right? Okay, they went to the same reserve where his body was found, right? Okay, they supposedly went for a few days and then returned and had a second reservation for the 12th of September. Okay. The 11th of September, Gabby Petito's family reports Gabby missing. Okay, they cancel said camping trip, they say. Okay. Then the 17th of September, we find Gabby Petito in Grand Teton National Park after this family had the video of where the van was. They looked not too far away from the van and brought the cadaver dogs out and found the body. Right? Right. Okay. So then now Brian is a person of interest. Okay. And they're looking for him. And supposedly he's at home, according to the family attorney. Supposedly he's been in contact with the police, of which the police later admit that that was never true. They just said that to stop public outrage, and they never had spoke to him at all. So no one can prove that supposedly he was in Wyoming, that he even went home, besides what his parents say. Okay.
I mean,
So
you got a
apparently-
young dog not even knocked on the door and nobody answered.
Okay, right, which they've been in this house. Now, things we found out later that they lied about that they said at first. Number one, they said that Brian and Gabby lived with the parents. This is not true. They lived in the parents' condo. That house that we keep seeing is the parents' condo. After all this shit started, they moved to the condo. Okay, so they never lived there before this. This wasn't their primary residence. We were told this, though. We were told this is the laundry home. They kept saying that, and all of that WFLA coverage with Hey JB, he kept saying this is the laundry home. Well, that's not true. This is the condo that Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito stayed in, but this was not the residence of Roberta and Christopher Laundrie.
Never was.
Never was. It was an extra home that they let them two live in. Okay. Apparently, it's like a 55 plus community, so they didn't really want Gabby and him there anyway because they were always fighting and shit. Okay. So these are things that they didn't tell us that people already knew, right? Okay. Now, with the reserve thing, the 13th, they claim, is when Brian left the house to go on a walk, supposedly at first. Then that changed quickly to he drove his car to the reserve, but they said he only left with a fanny pack and a water bottle. Okay. Now, why that's important is because, okay, then after the 13th, he's missing. Okay. Or maybe the 14th, their story changes about when and where. Okay. The day after he goes missing, they go back to the reserve to look for his car. Okay. They find his car. Supposedly, at first, there was a note on the car. Then that changed into it was a ticket from the police. Now, my thing is, how would you know where the car was, and why wouldn't at that moment you think something was wrong?
See,
Okay.
and here's my thing about this, right? Because the parents brought the vehicle
Home.
back home.
Mhm.
And then after the vehicle comes back home,
Out there, why would you take his only mode of transportation to get out of there?
True.
right? And then once the vehicle is returned home,
Unless you're maybe
This is-
thinking that he's going to hide out there and you're taking his vehicle so it's at home.
so
And then
here's,
they-
oh God, why am I you?
And they didn't think that they were going to get a ticket. You know what I mean? Like, because why
Well,
else would you take the vehicle home? If you think if your son's only been gone like one day, why would you go and take his vehicle if you haven't had contact with him? How would you know that he just wasn't on a super long hike or went camping over and fell asleep and didn't wake up? You know what I mean? Like, why would your first instinct be, oh, take the vehicle home? If you believe that he's still out there and alive and well, why would you take the vehicle home? So, see, this is why when the first were talking about the reserve and the trip, And when he supposedly left, the thought crossed my mind, and I had brought this up to Red. I was like, what if when he got home, the parents started questioning him, and the 11th, when it came out that Gabby was missing, because he had said, okay, so I had seen a post that was supposedly from a family friend of the Laundry that was talking about how when Brian came home, he was telling them that him and Gabby were just on a break. Okay. And that's why Gabby didn't come home, because she was with other friends doing something. Okay. So when it came out that she was missing, I think that the parents confronted him because, hell, they were engaged and lived in a condo, and was like, what happened? What did you do with her? And maybe things got wild and they fucking killed him. Maybe they did. And maybe they brought him to the fucking reserve and dumped his ass out there. Okay. Maybe that happened. Because as shit has continued, number one, they haven't spoke to anybody. Number two, nobody could find Brian. Nobody had spoke to him, and nobody could confirm that they had spoken to him. The last people to have spoken to him are his own parents, and really the only time we can corroborate supposedly is on the 6th when they went on that camping trip and they went to the preserve and they saw 3 people in the vehicle, but only 2 left the preserve on that occasion as well. Okay.
Right.
Maybe he said he wanted to stay after and do some solo camping or something, okay? But maybe he was plotting that he was going to go back out there or something, okay? Maybe the parents figured this out, like I said, after the 11th when it was announced that she was missing, and it now became a big deal. Maybe he had been out there in the woods. Maybe they canceled their camping trip so there was no trace that they would be out there, so they sent him out there, and once they found her body, maybe they killed him then.
I mean,
because then maybe he lied. You know what I mean? There's a couple ways that could have happened where, like, maybe he lied to them and said, well, I didn't kill her, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And then they find out, oh, they found her body, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he was out there for a month or so. And then when they found out it was strangulation and this and that, maybe then they killed him. I don't know. But the body is so decomposed that it makes me think that they killed him kind of in the beginning, which makes me think, what if he admitted to them that he did it? They said they would protect him, and then when they found out other details that didn't match up with his story, they killed him. Because they would figure at that point he was the most hated man in America, so who would miss him?
Well, and see, here's my thing that I'm going to add to this.
I mean, not saying that it's right, but people go through, like, shock and become, like, deranged,
I mean, Scarlett, here's a point you made, and I'm going to bring it up. Dog kept staying at that reserve.
And he did, and he said that I was in that reserve, and he did not leave.
So
that's what Doug the Bounty Hunter said. He said he was in the preserve, and he never left it.
And here's my thing, okay? A lot of people think this is a publicity stunt for Dog.
Right.
As for me, he knows what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to people like people like Brian Landry.
Well, because he's done a lot of these, like, search and looking for fugitives and following their leads. And
right, like the dude's an actual bounty hunter, for God's sake.
Well, they bail bondsman. Bounty hunter is illegal.
Bail bondsman, bounty hunter.
Yeah. But it's pretty much the same. You have to be a criminal charged or something. You can't just go, like, snatch somebody for just accusation.
Yeah, bounty hunters bounty hunters are the crime syndicate's response to bondsmen.
Right. And so, I mean, but he was right, though. Like, he said that boy was in that reserve, that he didn't leave the reserve, and that's where he was found supposedly dead. But supposedly they only found skull fragments and no extra body parts. And then they found some other body parts, and then they said they weren't his. But they haven't done DNA yet, so how can they say they weren't his?
Well, so check this out. So
well, see, that's what I'm saying.
Well, and they're saying that the exposure is so deep where it's like, okay, but it's only like October 20-something. Okay. Supposedly this man went missing September 12th or 13th. Okay, so October 13th. That's 1 month. Like you're saying in a month, like almost 2 months total, that somehow he's decomposed to like a unrecognizable level.
Well, yeah.
I'm having a hard time believing that where there's no flesh at all. I get there's gators, I get there's fish. I understand all that. But even then,
Yeah.
like I just can't see it.
Here's my thing in this article that came out today, saying that the DNA to the skull that they have found does not match Brian Laundrie.
Well, they didn't test it yet. Well, the police came out and said they didn't test it yet. That
Well, see,
purported.
and that's my problem. How can they say it is or isn't
They
him?
said on dental records it's him, but on DNA they have not conclusively tested that. But dental records match him.
See, it sounds more and more like my theory that some deranged
Yeah,
freak
dental
from the
records.
internet was following him, and
Somebody could have been doing that too because people wanted him dead if he killed Gabby. And if somebody figured out he was in that reserve and listened
right.
to Gag the Bounty Hunter in the beginning before they really started the search in that preserve, or learned that the family had camped there, so figure maybe he went back there. Like there could have been some like vigilante groups out hunting.
Well, I
Absolutely.
think my original hypothesis was that it was some deranged lunatic on the internet that was following them because they had broadcast their lives and they said, "Oh, hey, this is a perfect opportunity." But guess what? They're not going to blame me. They're going to blame the boyfriend.
Well, and think about it. He ruined the parents' lives. This is why I also could think it could be the parents, because it could be a deranged online person too. Because people really followed the case really closely, had lots of details, lots of information. But one thing I also found strange is I never saw in any of the forums anyone ever post the laundry's address. So how people knew where to go was interesting. Okay, because that was never posted in any of the places that I usually have, and those places usually give up that information.
Well, once you have somebody's name, it's usually pretty easy to find their address.
And most people usually repost it though, so I'm just saying I find it really strange that it was never like reposted, rebroadcasted really in groups or anywhere, but yet people knew where to go. Okay.
Well, that's partly because they were broadcasted, but I had heard that the FBI was actually shutting down those blogs or posts and stuff like that because
I'm
it
sure they
interfered
were.
with the investigation or whatever.
Well, technically the parents were suspects, but okay, so think the shit they have is ruined now. Everybody's gonna know them forever. Well, if you didn't do anything, we'll protect you. They might have sent him out there with the food and all this other shit because the mom at one point had her bag full of 12 of those gold energy monster drinks, which are rare because I don't think I've even really seen those in stores very often. So it was like a, zero sugar ultra energy monster that's gold. And had 12 of those monsters, and then she just like goes inside and then they go somewhere else and disappear. And at that point, they people could follow them, which I think is kind of shit. And so, what did she ever do with them? And this Dr. Bounty Hunter found that can out there in the woods. Did they ever test that can for DNA?
Yeah, exactly. That would be the first thing I would do.
Yeah, because I think that can that has the DNA would let you know.
Yeah, if it was him or not. Or at least if he was there for certain.
Well, that's the first thing I'm going to look for, is if there's DNA sources out there like cans and water bottles and everything.
Cans, water bottles, cigarettes. Although I don't think he smoked.
No, I don't think he did. And my thing is and I'm going to say this. There's a lot of confusion going on because right now at this point, it's literally either it's him or it isn't. We need to make People need to make up their fucking mind.
Well, and like I said, I think it could be the parents. It could also be deranged online lunatic who followed the true crime podcast websites and really got into where he could be because people had really good guesses and people guessed that reserve for a week or two before anybody else was like, "Oh, go search the reserve."
That's
Because
true.
they didn't really start searching that till like the end of September, early October, honestly. That's when they started focusing on the reserve after Gabby Petito's body was found. Because then he was considered a missing person, and it took 2 more weeks for them to declare that he was had any charges from stealing her debit card. And then that's how they got this search started because he was a person of interest. And then he stole her debit card information so they could charge him on something so they could start to look for him because otherwise they couldn't even start to look for him.
Right.
And this is how he slipped through. But I can't believe nobody had surveillance on him and did not know where he was. Like, that is insane. The FBI knew that they were looking at him. So how did they let him slip out of his fingers? Even if they weren't going to use it. They surveil people all the time. You're telling me they couldn't have just surveilled him and then never used that information? Like, what?
Yeah, which they do with
They're trying
most
to act like
everybody.
they're all right. I was just about to say they're trying to act like they're all good American patriots now. We don't follow people.
Yeah.
You know, we don't spy on them. We don't check them out and then delete the files or keep small files on people. But yet they let this fool run around when it was the biggest case that was in the country at the time. Like, that just makes no sense to me. Like, you would think that he'd be the number one person you surveil. Maybe you don't wiretap him, but you fucking follow him around for sure.
Yeah, exactly. You track his movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Like, you don't put a GPS tracker on his car, but you old school follow him.
Yeah.
Like, legit.
And I'm sorry, in the day and age we live in, I can't see how anybody can go that far without getting tagged because there's so many
cameras. That's what I mean. Like, those
everywhere.
tactics aren't even illegal to, like, follow someone and things. Like I said, putting trackers and things on vehicles, that's where I draw the line. But old school following, like, because, you know, if you're smart enough, you're going to notice somebody following.
I mean, here's my thing. Here's my thing now.
You know what I mean? But, like, as far as that goes, like, if they're looking at, like, how do you let him slip through your fingers? How do you let him, how does nobody talk to him? How do the police come out with an official statement stating that they have spoken to Brian Laundrie and then fucking retract that shit and said nobody has spoken to him? How is that possible?
Do you know what? But here's my thing, though. So check this out, right?
Nice.
And in Scarlet, I pointed this out to you, and you went like I made perfect sense. So I'm gonna revert back to Dog here for a minute. Dog had more information in 2 days than what the FBI did and Homeland did in 2 months.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And he was able to pinpoint his ass and say, nope, he's absolutely here. And then they intensified their search in that area, and he was not wrong. I mean, if this comes back to be him, they found his ass there. But then that brings back a lot of questions because people are questioning her because of her connections with Sandy Hook and this and that. They're questioning the whole situation because how do we know he wasn't already dead? How do we know that? We don't know that. How do we know she wasn't already dead? How do we know that? We don't know that.
And Pam Garfield says hi back.
Hi, Garfield.
Garfield.
Well, you guys missed when he made his screen presence.
I did. Damn.
I did. I'm sad. Damn.
Garfield.
But here's my thing, though, okay? So this is something that I'm gonna have to watch what I say.
Yeah.
I can't really go into detail like I want to.
Okay.
Me and Scarlett talked about it on the phone. Alex Jones got sued for this, so I'm kind of really got to watch what I say.
Mm-hmm.
Gabby Petito was a part of the.
So that's what I just said. I already said that. I already said that.
But here's my
thing. Let it only say it once. So that's my point. Like, people have questions about that. People have conspiracy theories about that. We don't necessarily subscribe to or against them. But it does bring an interesting layer of what the fuck to the situation.
What if she was murdered because of that?
That's absolutely possible, and it could be like a monarch mind slave type situation.
Because as the controlling type that Brian Landry was, right?
And I want to know how they met with him being from Florida.
Online
Right.
dating site. I can already tell you that now.
Do we know that for sure though? And then how did he convince her to move down there? I guess because his parents had a condo they could live in, but like she lived in upstate New York, so I mean that's a big shift for somebody.
That is a big shift, and in
Yeah,
such a short time.
that's what I mean. And then another thing that's strange to me now, and this could just be that people don't want to be identified, but I just found it really strange that none of her friends have come out and really spoke, or his. There was that one friend that supposedly knew both of them, but that
In
was it.
Florida.
Yeah, the one and she met her supposedly online too. This girl.
See, that's why I'm
So,
saying online dating
which is
site.
kind of weird. Well, no, I'm talking about the friend she met
Yeah.
was online, so that also weird. Like that she didn't have but Brian supposedly lives here but has no friends.
Right.
Like
I mean,
his
that could be
family owns a
possible.
condo there. Like where was the Laundrie's primary residence? Like, this is a question I want to know now. Where was their primary residence? Is it even in Florida? Did they live somewhere else? Because, like, where did he grow up with his childhood?
Lee says it's
Like,
New York.
yeah, see? So, like, if it's New York, how far away does the Laundries live from, like, the Petito family then?
See, what if they could have been childhood friends?
See, this is what I'm saying because it seems like their parents have money to own a condo in Florida that you could just let these young kids live in. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's a second home. She owns a really nice vehicle for a 20-something-year-old to go travel across the country in.
Oh yeah, those things are not cheap.
No, to outfit for van life and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
no, they are not.
no. So it's
No,
like you have
me and Scarlett, me and
to.
Scarlett looked those up. Them are like $120,000 to $150,000.
Yep.
Well, and depending on what you do to them, they could be even more.
Yes, I was about to say they can
She
go
did have
upward.
the cheapest, smallest, like Sprinter van style that was almost like, but still, if you outfitted the inside, it's still going to be upwards from 50 to 80,000 US, no problem.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, honestly, like, where do you get that type of money as like a young kid that supposedly only worked at like mediocre like smoothie shops and like you know what I mean? Like, how your
Yeah,
parents have to have money.
a lot of it too.
Do you know what?
Yeah,
I want to start digging in and seeing what I can find on the Landrys now.
because that's what I'm saying. Where is their primary residence? What do they do for a living? Because, like I said, I just have a feeling that maybe they could have killed. I might kill my kid if they came home and said that their fucking fiance. We were on a break and then I find out she's actually dead, and
Oh,
or
I would
missing.
too.
I'm
Not
just
gonna lie,
saying.
Dean would die.
Yeah, it might happen. I'm not joking. Like I might just be so mad that I punch them that like they'd hit themselves and they die. I don't know if I could
Hmm.
actually physically kill them
Yeah,
until
no,
they're
I
dead.
wouldn't kill them, but they would definitely catch an ass whooping.
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying. And then if in that ass whooping they end up dying, well,
it's
Wow.
your own damn fault.
we don't have to do something about that. So I'm just saying, what if it was something like that with them? Why they became so withdrawn, why they didn't speak about anything, why they never tried to clear their name because they were living under their own guilt. Now, this is all just speculation. And I don't mean this in a bad way,
Yeah,
nor do
it
I
is
hold it
speculation.
against them. So, like, if their lawyers listening, like, I'm not holding this against them. What I'm saying is, uh, they might have been justified in that, like, for real, like, temporary insanity, like, The
I believe in
information
it.
is creepy, like for real.
The only
So I don't
problem with
know.
that is how given the situation and the fact that all eyes were starting to be on them, how they would be able to dispose of the
That's
body
what I
and
said in
or
the
evidence.
beginning. So remember that my timeline of when I think this occurred.
Mhm.
Petito was announced missing the 11th. Brian supposedly goes missing, but yet remember, no one saw him go missing but the parents. This is what the parents claim. The 12th or 13th. Okay, so like 2 days later. The 17th is when her body is found in Grand Teton National Park. So they could have moved him during that time right then, even the 18th or 19th, because then the manhunt didn't start because of the $1,000 charge and all that other shit for a little while longer, nor did the manhunt in the reserve start until a little while after her body was found. So in that time, there would have been plenty of time to move it there. Because remember, they weren't watching the parents. Remember, it was such a focus that he's only a person of interest and we can't be tracking him. And he needs to turn himself in. You see, until after the $1,000 FBI bond through grand jury came is when the manhunt actually started. But before that, no one was looking for anyone, and the Laundries were never on a list of suspects.
You know what? That state indictment actually kind of
Nor
confused me.
the police were giving them a lot of grace because people were coming over and fucking literally harassing them. So they let them probably move around without watching them too much, to be truly honest. Because
You
they
know what? And
probably
I'm
were
gonna
respecting their peace. So in that sense, this is how I see this could have maybe happened.
and
And
I'm gonna say
or
this.
they gave him
The
support out in the reserve, gave him food, gave him a cache of food, gave him all these things, and let him go out there to survive, and he didn't. And that's
but
very
the lawn
possible.
but
And
the
more
Laundries didn't.
plausible.
The Laundries didn't deserve that type of harassment, though.
To some degree, they did because they needed to speak up. But that's why I said if they killed their son, they would have a lot of guilt, and or if they were helping him survive out in the fucking bush, they also would have guilt and would not want to talk. So I'm just saying, any other family, if she was supposedly their, they're gonna be their daughter-in-law, most families would come out and be like, "Bring Gabby home. We loved her so much." Like, and if my son is involved, he deserves to, pay for his crimes. Like, that's what should have been said by the Laundrie family. If they really cared about Gabby in that way and she was a part of the family, then that's what needed to be said. It wouldn't matter if she was just going to be joining the family or not. If she's going to be my daughter-in-law, then it shouldn't matter what my son does to her because he shouldn't come above her. They should be equals at that point. She's supposed to be my daughter as well as my son, equal. So, no. So see my drift? So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not blaming anybody. That's just a what if. That's like a, you know, spin-off, fictional novel idea. But the more plausible idea is that they cached food and brought shit out to him out there, or had a friend who brought it out to him, like had a connection and or a way. Because why would you remove the vehicle? I'm still stuck on that. Why would you remove the vehicle if you thought he was out there?
That is a fair point.
It's a fair point, and it's something that
Because how
I'm
would
gonna
he
have
get
to think
home?
about.
Because it's like 26 miles from their home. How would he get home? He's supposed to run a marathon to get back? And then supposedly at first he left on foot. The first original. And why can't we catch them on all these lies that they told the police? Anybody else would already be in jail. How come they can say, oh, he was on foot with a fanny pack and a water bottle, and then change their mind and be like, he drove his car there? And then say there was a letter from him on the vehicle, and then say, oh, wait, no, actually, it was a letter from police. Like, how is anybody getting away with this? Regular people would go to jail for lying.
I if the Landrys are involved, I believe they both need to be
Hindering an
arrested.
investigation. I think they are involved in some way, shape, or form. Because, like I said, why would you lie about these things? Why would you need to make up these things? Why would you move the vehicle from the reserve if your son had only been missing like 1 or 2 days at this point and you think he's in the reserve? Why would you move his only way of getting out? Why wouldn't you notify authorities then and say, hey, my son might be trapped inside this reserve, so we'd like to keep his vehicle here in case he returns to it so he doesn't think it was stolen, especially by the time he gets out of here, his phone probably isn't working. Okay. How come she bought a burner phone during this time while he would have been in the reserve? Why did she have the 12 cans of the Monster Energy drink that were found? One of them was found in the reserve. We don't know if it's the same cans as she had, but the same brand, which is a rare brand. Okay. How come when they just brought the laundries to the reserve, they went right to a watered, like zippered underwater bag right away and then found his remains? And they didn't say he left with the bag like that. So why would you go to that and think that was his exactly? Like a dry bag. It was a white dry bag. So why would you go to this specific area, pick up a dry bag, and then find also his skull next to this dry bag? And if this area was flooded, somehow he held on to this dry bag.
Doesn't
And
make
you
any
said he
sense.
left with a fanny pack and a water bottle. So when did he leave with this and that and all this other shit in his vehicle? When did he leave with
Exactly,
that?
but my question is next to the journal. How the fuck did that get there?
That's what I'm saying. They're talking about now it can potentially be salvaged. Because, see, like I told Red, I was like, if it's just notebook paper, it's going to be almost destroyed unless it's like that special type of, outdoors paper, which could have been, because you can use any pen on that and it can get wet. But it wasn't. So they're saying they might be able to piece it together. We'll see. But like I said, I don't know. How do we know that the laundries didn't set that wet bag out there with these remains? How do we know? How do we know? How do we know? How do we know? Because how come they go straight to it? This is a 24,000 acre reserve. And you go straight to the spot somehow. And they say the spot was underwater until recently.
Right.
But
Well,
somehow
a lot of people are even questioning that, because I do recall seeing an article written by a former deputy
one of my childhood friends,
who was questioning the fact that they had searched that area numerous times before, and the cadaver dogs didn't pick up any scent,
and they would have.
how it's very, very,
With a
very
dry
rare.
bag, they would have been able to pick up the scent through the bag of his items. And like
Yep.
a childhood friend of mine's boyfriend, her husband now, works inside that preserve, okay, and has grown up inside that preserve. And that preserve is so big, and he doesn't even know areas of it. So, and he works in it and is an outdoorsman. Like, so how do they know exactly where to go? And know that this bag was his and point it out to law enforcement and then find the remains right next to it. I just find that highly skeptical that all of those things happened in that order.
Yes. Well, I'm finding the
I
whole
do,
thing
too.
from top to bottom, just because we live in the day with ultra surveillance and everyone's checking up on each other. How nobody could have possibly seen.
He didn't use no debit cards. He didn't use no cell phone. He just somehow went off the grid. That's why I said, number one, we need to question, did he ever go back to Florida? Because who actually fucking saw him? And if his parents were the only ones that saw him, can we verify that? Okay, because there is a discrepancy. Did Brian Laundrie fly out to Florida to put stuff in storage? And this is how he used this later on to say that they were fighting and on a break. Now, no one's been able to verify that because we in America don't necessarily use passenger manifest in that way. So we can't really track it.
Oh, you only got that?
But how can we prove
That's all you got.
that he ever went back home? They claim that his license plate hit or her license plate hit on the license plate scanner. But physically after that, besides them saying that they went on this trip to the preserve on the 6th, nobody else physically saw him after that. No one saw him at all. The only people who claim to have seen him are the parents. This whole time, no one else. So let's think about that.
I mean, so let's break this down, right?
Then when did he actually go missing? You see what I'm saying? It could have been right away. We don't know. What if he went home and admitted it right away to his parents and they fucking just were like, you gotta go. You gotta get the fuck out of here. You can't be here. Right away. And maybe did the little camping trip to say goodbye to him or something. I don't know. Like I said, maybe they killed him right then because they said only 2 people left to preserve then.
And that was both laundries.
September's, yeah. Yep, before Gabby would have even been reported missing. But think about it. That could have been when.
I mean,
no one saw him at all. No one.
I mean, I don't even know how to wrap my head around this, to be honest.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's them. This is all allegedly. But think about it. They would be the perfect MO. He comes home. He admits he does it to them. They say,
Murders your daughter-in-law.
Right. We're going to take you out for a camping trip. Okay. Act like everything's cool. Fucking kill his ass right out there. Leave. Then she gets reported missing. He comes on them. They can say, well, we haven't talked to Brian. The next day after, Brian goes missing. They claim. Now everybody's thinking he's not there and he's on the run. Meanwhile, he's rotting in the preserve.
Good cover-up.
Yeah. Month and a half rotting in his preserve. I mean, shit. It would have worked. I'm just saying. Think about it. So far, if they did do that, it worked.
TLO, what's your take to all this, dude? You've been, quiet.
That's because I'm watching us on footage from last summer. So.
You're watching?
Well, I'm watching a Netflix special called.
They didn't say that
Death
he talked to the attorney. They didn't say he talked to the attorney. The parents claimed that that the attorney said that they was in contact with the Laundrie family. But when Northport police pressed them, they admitted that they had not spoken to him. And the lawyer said that he had not spoken to them because the lawyer is actually a family friend of the Laundrie. So nobody actually spoke to him at all.
Right.
During that time. So, they claimed that they were in contact and that he was okay, but all the parents had to say was, yeah, he's fine. He just doesn't want to talk. And legally, because he's not in trouble, he doesn't have to speak to a lawyer. He doesn't have to talk to anybody.
It's a perfect cover-up, to be honest.
It would be, honestly.
Now,
everybody's hating on them, but they really could be like the heroes.
Right. So, TLO, what is your take on all this, dude? Because I want to hear what your thoughts are, to be honest.
There's too many inconsistencies. Given that these people are apparently connected, this could easily be a hit.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest. And the only thing I have a problem with is the fact that, even if the parents were to have done that and killed him, where were they of storing the body, the decomposing, highly decomposing
preserve because they
but they said they searched the majority of the preserve and the cadaver dogs didn't pick up anything, and then they come back and they find the body. That's why the deputy chief said it was highly dubious.
Right, but what they said that part of the preserve was underwater due to flooding. Okay.
Correct.
Also,
and they said the dogs can smell in the water.
Now, what about the wet bag? What material was it? Can we guarantee that they could have lied it or put something in it that could have, warded off scent?
Well, the
But see, the
deputy chief
only
in his article said that the dogs are trained to smell basically any sort of dead through
Well, I'm talking about
ridiculous
the wet
amounts of
bag
them.
that he had personal items of his. That wasn't
well,
the decomposing body because they said there was a white wet bag, which is like a bag you bring camping or out in the outdoors that you roll down and then you clip and then it keeps it watertight and waterproof. What I'm saying is, what was that made out of? And could he have put something in there? Because a lot of outdoors people would to get off the scent from animals so they don't smell it. What if that's what he was carrying and it was in that area, so that's why the animal didn't hit on it because that was around.
but his scent would still be on the bag.
Correct.
Not if you're using a scent killer.
But that would
Not if
completely
you
destroy. That would completely take the dog out for the rest of its life. Where they wouldn't be able to be a cadaver.
A scent killer is a goddamn product you use for like deer hunting and fucking animal hunting and shit. You buy it at the store. They make like laundry soap, they make hand lotion, they make spray, they make all types of shit. That's like for gamesmen, like that takes the human scent off of what you're wearing, what you're carrying, your backpacks, your wet bags, your clothing, like all of those things. So this is the only thing is that they say that he was smart enough to be on the Appalachian Trail. He's smart enough to be a hunter. So what if he outfitted his bag in this way to try to avoid detection? That's all I'm
I
trying
don't
to
even.
say.
I don't even think. I kind of agree with Tia Lil at this point. I don't think Brian Laundries is that. I don't even think the family is that smart.
Well, if
Correct.
this man could be on the Appalachian Trail, he's that smart. I'm not saying the family did this. What I'm saying is Brian Laundrie did this if he brought this out to their preserve to survive. You see, and or if they just brought it out for their camping trip. Because you would bring shit like that out to a fucking swamp because you don't want your shit to get wet if it rains overnight and becomes a swamp. That's the type of shit you bring. You bring a wet bag, you bring this, you bring Ziplocs, you bring shit that doesn't get wet, space bags, to put your blankets in, that type of shit. That's what you bring.
But the scent killer, I don't think he was that smart though.
He would be
Yeah.
that smart. He went on the Appalachian Trail. You cannot be just a normal person and you're an outdoors person. You go camping across the country. You stay in all these other places and you don't know about scent killer or bear spray or like these outdoors things. I don't think he's that dumb either. I'm just saying for a normal person going out in the woods when you go camping, you use these items. So why wouldn't he? I would use these items in the woods if I was going on a
Okay,
camping.
but
Yeah.
here's my thing. So many other things were there for the dog to pick up on, not just the bag.
Not just a bag. Correct.
Okay, though, but that is one thing that maybe that's why they didn't pick up on the bag. That's the only thing I'm saying. The other items, questionable, because where did they come from? Because, like I said, they said the parents, he only left with the fanny pack and the water bottle. So
But
where's the fanny pack? Where's the fanny pack? We've only heard of a backpack being recovered at this point, and
maybe
now
it's
this
in the
wet
bag.
bag. No, they didn't say they recovered that. So where the hell is this quote unquote fanny pack? See, I feel like they're lying about this. So see, this is the point I'm getting to. Because
But
why would you say he left with these things? Because like I said, they said he left on foot at first, but then somehow magically drove his vehicle, but you claim he left on foot. How do you not know that he didn't leave on foot? See my problem with this? This is why they've been lying since day one. I'm not saying that even going on the fact that they killed him, but let's just say they're covering up for him. Why would you say at first that he left on foot and then change it and say, oh, he left in his vehicle and we found his vehicle at the preserve with this letter that was next to it that was, they said at first from him, then changed their tune really quick and said, oh, actually, it was a ticket from the police department. Why, if they're a family who camps in this area, they would have a park pass for this? Okay, they would have a park pass. So why would they give a ticket for one night? Why would they give a ticket for one night? Because if this allows overnight camping, why would you get a ticket? Okay, so let's think about that. Number one. Number two, if you think your son is in there, Why would you remove his vehicle? If you thought your son even just disappeared and got lost in the woods, why wouldn't you call the police right away to search his vehicle and
Because
secure it?
right, but my thing is, there is way I can't even think about
That's
this,
a
and
huge. You need to think about this because that's a huge inconsistency. Why would why if everything was okay according to these parents? Why would you just take the vehicle back home when you know you haven't even spoken to them?
because here's my thing, I still believe the motherfucker's in the house.
I don't. I think it's weird. I think he was left out there at a certain point and they were cashing him food and shit and he just couldn't make it. I think that's what happened. I
Now,
think
see,
that I think either friends or and because I don't know if the parents themselves could have been that crafty to get in and out after they had been there before. But I think either at the September 6th camp out, they cashed him food then and then brought it before they admitted that they found her dead body. But after they said she was missing, before they said he was missing. I think that's when they would have cached food and or brought it to that area.
nah, I still believe there's more to this story than what the parents are telling.
There has to be, obviously. That's what I'm saying, Dwayne. There has to
Well,
be
there's
something.
more to this story because even the FBI has been caught in lies. So
See, that's what I'm saying. So why is there so many lies regarding these parents' story, and why normal people would end up going to jail for lying and impeding on an investigation with the lies they've already given, such as he left with the fanny pack and he left on foot. Oh, but now we took his car and then we drove the car back home. Those things would get normal people in trouble.
Because I have a feeling the FBI might be involved in it too.
well, that's what I'm saying is like it sounds
I
so
think people are really
contrived.
forgetting that in other cases, when people have done things like that, they've gotten in a lot of trouble. It's not just nothing happens. So why are the laundries special? See, the social media has ruined people's brains so that when stories like this happen, they don't even recognize like this shit's illegal. Like you can't even do this. But because it's all hyped on the internet, they think that it's okay to do.
Yes.
Like, but when you really think of, you can't even what? Like this is not even right. So
No.
it's just like there's so much with this case that's wrong. Like a normal person, if you told the police something and lied, you would go to jail. During even a missing person investigation, even a person of interest, you would go to jail. And you would at least be charged with impeding an investigation, at the very least. And with the investigation as serious as this was, they would have at least came after you for that. And they lied multiple times. And no one ever called them out for it. Ever.
Well, and that's my whole thing is the fact that the FBI has been so lackadaisical in the whole approach.
And they've let these parents go scot-free.
Yeah, basically just willy-nilly. And that's why I think it's something that could be even higher up.
Yeah, because why has nobody grilled the shit out of these people and been like, what the fuck? Like, why did you lie? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why did you move his vehicle? Why would you think it was okay to move his vehicle if he was missing at that point? Because obviously at that point he hadn't been home. So why did you have a deal that if he wasn't home within 24 hours that you were going to pick up his vehicle from this location, even though you claimed that when he left before you didn't know where he was going because he left on foot with a fanny pack and a water bottle? Like, why is that issue not being brought up? Because that's a lot of questionable bullshit right there. Because unless you had some type of fucking deal with him to go pick up that vehicle within 24 hours of him not being home, why would you think it was okay to do that? What
You
made
know what?
you
Lee
think
makes a point. Lee makes a point. I think they knew he killed himself and left him out there, but marked the area.
And they might have. See what I'm saying? Or they went to go out there.
To be honest, that would be more plausible just in the case of like transporting the body or whatnot.
Yeah. Or like I said, they knew that he was already out there. when they went out to go see him or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
he could have been by himself. And then one of the times they went out there to check on him, boom, bam, bop, here it goes. But if he supposedly just left, why would you take the vehicle home? Unless, like you said, you thought something had already happened, or you knew he was going to be able to survive out there without the vehicle and was planning to stay out there. You see what I mean? Like, there was no logical reason to take the vehicle, because let's think about this. If I'm hiking and I park my car on a trailhead, okay, and I'm going on a hike and I don't know how long I'm going to be gone, okay, and I have my supplies with me and I have my hiking pack and I start hiking. Let's say something happens to me along the way where I have to stay overnight, and maybe I got myself so far off track that it might take me another day to hike back on the way back. Or maybe I've hurt myself and now it's going to take me 2 days to hike back. If I don't come back, number one, why would somebody think it's okay to take my car if I haven't made it back? Somehow I have magically walked past my car. Number two, why wouldn't somebody send help and say, hey, maybe we should look for my son in this place because, he was supposed to be just going on a, hike, and it wasn't supposed to be overnight. Now he's not home.
Right.
Resentment, anger.
No, because there's something about, that's what I'm saying. If the parents knew about what happened, like I said, maybe they kicked him out even and said, get the fuck out of my house. And this was the place he thought to go.
That's why I was saying resentment, anger. I mean, anger.
For him, and he knew that it was going to start being serious because, big names were starting to get involved. Large media was starting to get involved.
The often.
And yeah, and the pressure became too much. And that's very possible, but something happened, and the parents know, and they lie.
But here's my thing though. From the signs of when you watch the body cam footage, and you've seen how manipulating and vindictive he was. Here's my thing. But there's more to it, right? There's just watch what I'm gonna say. Hold on a minute. All right. With him, I swear to God, literally, he has the. If that motherfucker wanted to, he had the ability to become a fucking serial killer.
And what if he was? There's been some theories put out that he might have been. There's no real proof he isn't. All with these other cases they said is, oh, he didn't do it. But they didn't give no proof to say he didn't. And did they check on the route the whole way there? Their whole cross-country road trip. Because there's many days that aren't accounted for in between. Where did they stay in between? Like, when they left Great Sand Dunes National Park, the next national park they went to was in Utah. Well, that's not close. That's like 15-hour drive. Okay, so where the fuck did they go in between there? Because you have to drive and stay somewhere in between. Shit like that. There's a lot of like unaccounted for time on their trip that nobody knows about. And they've admitted that they've never recovered either one of their phones. Neither one of their phones have been recovered. So that's also a problem. Because like I said, did he ever go home? No one has proof that he ever went home, besides the parents saying he came home. But nobody physically saw him. They claim that, like I said, his license plate was pinged in Northport, Florida on the 1st of September. But that was Gabby's van. But we have no footage claiming that this was him. They haven't found footage, nor have they given up any footage from any gas stations across the country, of which you would have had to get gas.
Yes.
Okay. And so they never have figured that out or showed us any of that. So how can we ever prove that he ever came home even?
Well, see, that's my point. The fact that in this day and age where there's cameras everywhere, you can find anybody
Yeah.
And if the
Unless
FBI,
you're hiding out in Pakistan.
Remember that show on CBS that came out a few years ago? That was like teams of people who tried to hide from like CIA level investigators. Did you ever see that show? It
Well,
was
I
actually a
thought
really
I
good show.
remember seeing a preview for it or whatever. I
And
don't
it
think
was
it
a good
ended
show.
very
Me and my
well.
dad actually watched it. I don't know how long it like lasted because a couple people were able to like outsmart the agents or whatever. But okay, the premise of the show was you had to like hide and you had to stay off the grid, but they got to use like all the like NSA tools and shit to try to find you. Okay, so they got to like use the big guns and all this shit they had that they showed how they can track you, dude. Like, there's no way in this day and age, like, you would have had to have some way of buying gas. You would have like $1,000, honestly, probably wouldn't have been enough even to get him home.
No, not
it
with the
wouldn't.
gas prices.
No, it wouldn't.
No.
And here's my thing, because Scarlett, I want to answer a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you asked. If this motherfucker from Wisconsin to Florida would have had to stop multiple times to fill that gas
Well,
tank up.
no. He was in Wyoming.
Yeah,
Or yeah,
Wyoming. Sorry,
Wyoming.
I got one of the W's mixed up. My bad.
Yeah.
He's in Wyoming. He would have had to stop. That's on the other side of the fucking state.
The country, dude. Like
Yeah.
that's the East
That's
Coast. Like that's a
like.
long way.
So here's
It's
my
like
thing.
miles, like at least.
And here's my thing, and I'm gonna talk on this for a minute because here's my thing. He would have had to stop and rest, right?
Yep, you would have had to
Can't
stop.
drive. You can't drive that long. You would have had to stop and get food if you didn't have any.
Maybe you could, and maybe it was set up that they had a little food in there, so maybe he just had to stop at like wayside rest, and like maybe they had a little bathroom set up, so he didn't have to necessarily stop at a rest stop to be seen.
Yeah,
But here's
possible, but not likely.
Right, but
Yeah,
not like. But
if
here's
they
my.
As the van life van, though, there would have been a little bathroom, there would have been a little kitchen, there would have been food inside, so he would have been able to not leave the van necessarily, but he would have had to get gas.
And he would have had to pull over somewhere with.
Was to be getting gas, but pulling over at a wayside rest, there's no cameras. Those type of places are just like little parked off the side of the road. You get 6 hour limit. You can sleep there. Nobody's watching. You could go in a Walmart parking lot. You can go Home Depot parking lot, Lowe's parking lot. You can go casino parking lot. Now those places would have cameras, but they wouldn't necessarily be looking for you either.
Do you know what? Here's my thing, and this is where I was going with this, right? If they wanted to truly track where that van went at every fucking movement, the FBI could have. And here's the reason why. One, unless he took a non-toll road in every fucking state, on every damn fucking state fucking border.
You don't have toll roads, though, and there might not have been toll roads until he hit Florida. Like, if he went through, like, Kansas and went through that, there's no toll roads that way. Not through Texas.
Not in Kansas.
But,
well,
like,
not in Kansas, no.
But the right way, he would have avoided tolls. So
but, that's...
If that's what they're trying to do.
He wouldn't have been able to avoid the traffic cams because, yes, there might not have been tolls, but all highways and freeways have traffic cams now.
And that's what they're saying.
And the lights.
Well, that's what they're saying caught him in Northport, Florida, though. So that's what they're saying is the only place that caught him on camera is the Northport.
Bullshit.
That's what they're saying. See, that's what, and nobody's giving us
bullshit because I'm gonna fucking tell you this.
Nobody's giving us the footage either. That's also the other problem. Why can't we have the footage? If it's just like some fucking dot cameras, why don't we have the video of the van and seeing him in the vehicle driving it?
Well, here's my fucking thing, and I'm gonna call bullshit on this. And here's the reason why. Because in every goddamn fucking traffic light, there is a fucking camera in it, whether we want to fucking admit it or not. The only fucking reason I know this, the only fucking reason...
highways and shit, and everywhere is different, but Florida in particular, license plate scanners and cameras on their highway and tolling systems. There's no reason why we shouldn't have a picture of it.
Here's
And they claim that that's what they used to say that he was back in Florida.
That's not what I'm talking about, hon. Give me a minute.
They don't have cameras
getting
on every flight, though, Dwayne. That's incorrect.
On most highways, they have cameras. Most fucking highways.
They have dot cameras, which are what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, they used along with the license plate scanner on a bridge system. So I'm talking about what you're talking about.
No, I was gonna say in another damn state, if they wanted to, if they could fucking track that van when he left Wyoming, got down to fucking Florida, somewhere in there had to be another fucking camera for them to see that fucking van.
Yeah,
I call bullshit. It's the only fucking place they caught him.
And nowhere else has a picture. No gas station. No fucking nothing. That's where I'm like, hold up.
But a feeling
somewhere, even if he was paying cash, there would have had to, there's only so many routes you can take because he left obviously between the 25th because them people were in Grand Teton National Park, I believe the 26th, and made that video. So it was that day at least or around, and then he left and went back to work. It would take 3 or 4 days to drive back. So that would give just the perfect timeline to be there by the time September 1st rolled around.
Hon, and I know, but here's my thing, okay?
What do you mean? Here's my thing. There's no. You can't change that. Like,
well, no, I'm not saying. We don't even know if it was Brian in the van. My point of where I was going, it might have been the fucking dad in the van.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, I don't know.
See, that's what I've been trying to say.
They claim that the week before, supposedly he flew back.
Because I call bullshit. This whole fucking timeline, there is something fucked with it. There is something somewhere deep down in this timeline that something somewhere somehow does not add up.
I know, and I don't know what it is, but it's fucky, dude.
Because here's my thing. Gabby Petito is now missing. Brian Laundrie is somehow now back in Northport fucking Florida. On September 1st.
Yep, Mitch.
On September 13th, Gabby is missing.
11th. No, September 11th.
September 11th, sorry. September 11th, Gabby is missing. Now on September 14th, Brian goes missing. Isn't there a coincidence here that 3 days after your fiance goes missing, you are just nowhere to be fucking found?
That's what I'm saying, but nobody can confirm that they talked to him before that either. So see, that's why I say, was he ever at home?
Lee just said got footage from Illinois from a gas station.
Okay, so that's I didn't hear about that, so that's good to know. Because I mean, how did they not find him anywhere else? Like that was my hope. But after September 1st, though, we don't know anyone who came in contact with him. Anyone.
So now here's my thing, okay? Here's my thing, and I'm going to point this out. Either A, the parents killed him. B, I'm going to throw another suspect in here just because I can, the sister.
The sister?
Yeah, Brian Laundrie's sister?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
We've all left her out of the damn subject.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, because TLO, check it this way, right? She was pissed. She said she wanted absolutely nothing to do with Brian.
Was that before or after Petito went missing?
After.
So see, that's why I say that's questionable.
And the sister made more statements than what the fuck the sister made a personal fucking statement to the news.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Before the parents
do with him,
and before the parents even did, like the parents didn't even come out and say nothing. And here she was out here saying something. So I'm just saying.
Right, exactly. So we can't just throw the parents under the bus here. We can also throw the sister under the bus.
I mean, I'm not gonna throw the sister under the bus because we don't know how much she knows or what she don't know. To be
But
fair,
and by the way,
sister
if
doesn't
the
necessarily be included in everybody's life either.
and if I'm gonna say this, if the laundries are somehow watching and we don't fucking know,
I'm just saying, like, it's just questionable. Like, if you cared about her, why didn't you just come out and say something? Like,
right?
either
That's
way.
what I was gonna say. If they somehow come by this video, because I put in the description of the fucking video, we are talking about the Gabby Petito case.
Oh, Lord, thanks, Dwayne.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All our opinions are opinions of Dwayne only and not opinions of real evolution.
No, there's a lot of opinions of Scarlett Anonymous in here too. She's been talking for
No, no, Dwayne. All opinions are Dwayne. And
no,
solely.
not no. We are not blaming.
Yeah, no, that's literally how the legal disclaimer comes out. Thank you.
But my thing is, before I decide to end this bitch for the night, because it's 3 o'clock in the morning and TLO has work, and I know Scarlett has shit to do tomorrow.
Correct.
Before I end this bitch, here's my thing. I'm going to dig more into the timeline of this and see if I can't find any more discrepancies in this timeline.
And I
One
mean,
article.
there's a bunch of discrepancies, which is the sad part.
I have an article that I sent to Scarlett that I'm gonna go back in and look at. I'll take screenshots of where I have it. If you guys want to check for updates where I find this please watch the Freedom Revolution Network page over the next course of a couple of days because that's where I'm going to be posting
All right.
or you can go over to the Night Talk
And
page
those
because I'm
posts,
also
yeah, and those posts should be public, so they should be easy to find.
yeah you can if you guys don't look there you can also look at my personal my show page where I'm going to be looking at where I'm also be posting that.
Put them on Instagram or put them on
Yeah,
YouTube or community section or something. There's options.
I gotta set my Instagram up. I keep forgetting to do that one.
Oh, you need Instagram, though.
I gotta get an Instagram for the page for my show. But anyways, so with that being said, TLO, do you have anything else you would like to say?
As far as the Gabby situation, yes, there's way too many discrepancies, but there also just seems to be blatant disregard by the criminal investigative teams or lack thereof. Because yeah, I'm sorry, if I was leading any investigation, the minute the parents acted squirrely, I would have had a tail on them. They would have been surveilled. All of it, like everybody would have been like, you don't just let people just go around. I don't care how stupid, sensitive bullshit feelings or feels or whatever the new fucking moniker is nowadays on the street. But like, if you're involved in a criminal, investigation, like just like Scarlett said, if you're a normal person, like you would be swept up like real quick.
You've been in jail.
Real quick.
Right.
So the fact that stuff hasn't moved very quickly leads me to believe that there's a lot more to this, and it could possibly go way, way up.
True.
Right now, TLO, do you have any advice for the world?
Yeah, TLO. Advice for the world.
Advice for the world. Stop being narcissistic brats.
Yes.
Stop living in these stupid ass echo chambers.
Yes.
And drop the attitude, because it's not very becoming.
Well, it's not going to help.
Well, yeah, it's not going to help the situation to be pissed off all the time.
No, it's not.
Things are about to get worse, and we're about to see the bad side of, you know, what happens when society falls apart. And it's
Right.
not going to be pretty. People
No,
are
it
already
isn't.
at each other's throats. So
It's already gotten cray-cray. Like, I've seen so many
This world
articles
has
of
gone
people
cray-cray.
just losing their shit. Kids killing their parents over video games. People killing Uber drivers for
yeah, it's for
saying
money.
something stupid to them or whatever.
I've seen that article about how Minneapolis put out a warning about people robbing Lyft and Uber drivers. Pretty soon there won't be Uber and Lyft in Minneapolis because they're literally calling Ubers from burner phones,
Yeah,
trapping the Uber drivers, and then surrounding them and then robbing them.
yeah. No,
And
it's
taking
it's
them
get
home.
it's getting to be end of days dystopic, futuristic, Orwellian bullshit in the cities. That's why a lot of people have moved out and are in the process of. I know just within my sphere of knowledge, at least 2 to almost 3 dozen groups or families that are leaving Minneapolis, Minnesota, even. One's
I
leaving the
mean,
country.
you almost have to at a certain point, though. I mean, things are getting wild here.
Yeah,
Like,
things are
Yeah,
getting wild everywhere. But yes, Minneapolis is definitely epicenter of bullshit. And it's going to get even uglier with the elections coming up. And
oh yeah, the
the ballot
mayoral
question is
election.
going to be answered, and people are going to be salty, especially as I mentioned before, you narcissistic brats. People are going to be upset because I have a very strong feeling that it is not going to pass.
Right.
Pretty much everyone
Right.
I've talked to, with the exception of my immediate family, have said that they're not voting yes for this. So if it gets defeated, which I expect it will, people's feels will be hurt once again, and they'll get all pissy, and then they'll start translating into more violence, and then violence begets violence, and so it'll just keep getting worse.
It is going to be worse. It's going to be next year is going to be wild, depending on what happens in Minneapolis.
Absolutely. So yeah, pay attention to your surroundings, folks, and keep your fucking head down.
True.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go next. Guys, look, here's my thing. I'm gonna go with what TLO said. You narcissistic. I'm not even gonna go brats. I'm gonna go you narcissistic fucking assholes. Things aren't gonna go your fucking way. You can sit there and cry all you fucking want, but at the end of the day, grow up, grow a pair, get a fucking job, fucking live your life, because it's only gonna get fucking harder from here. Life ain't going back to fucking normal. We've already fucking seen this. Grow the fuck up and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Good advice,
If you
Dwayne.
don't, if you don't ask for help, guess what? You ain't
You
gonna go
deserve
nowhere.
it.
Well, if you don't ask, the answer is no.
And trust me, take this from somebody who had to ask for help, move over 6 hours and 57 minutes away from his family, his kid, and had to leave everybody behind to get his own fucking life right. Take that from somebody who had to finally open up their fucking eyes and realize he can no longer fucking do it by himself. Shut the fuck up, stop crying, and just grow a fucking pair.
Good advice, Dwayne.
Because I'm done with the bullshit.
Well, my
You wanna-
advice is
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
my advice to everybody is start preparing now. Start putting extra food away, no matter what it is, even if it's not organic. The time is now. You need to have a good storage. Start stocking away other things that you think you might need. Because this whole shipping container situation, we didn't get into that, but we will start getting into this type of stuff soon. It's going to really affect all of us. All of a sudden, things are just going to disappear.
Shit.
And they're
Why
not
don't
going
we
to
make
be
that?
available.
Why don't we make that our weekend topic? Is the shipping container?
I'm down.
Yeah.
I plan on doing another show Friday if Scarlett doesn't.
Yeah, we should talk about that crisis because it is a big deal. So
It is.
we'll get into that then and talk about it because this we need to prep and we need to prep for the right things, not just frivolous things, not just things we want. We need to think about now, 6 months from now, and maybe even a year from now, even if it's only a few things you can get. We're going to try to think of some ways that we can do that.
And guys, don't hoard the TP.
No, because I mean, honestly, if you have to, you can make things like family cloth. If you have to, I mean, don't be ashamed. Like there is ways to make things work without having to deal with um, disposable TP. Honestly,
We
that'll.
didn't have TP. We used wash rags. And we
That's what
put
I
them in the
mean.
washer afterwards.
Yeah, there's ways to do it, just like a baby's cloth diaper. So I mean, it may not be your favorite way to do it, but at the same time, would you rather have that or nothing?
Correct.
So, I mean, people need to decide. Like, do you want to feel desperate and have something unsanitary, or do it in a way where you have a wet bag and you wash it like your grandmother did, and then you put them out to dry, you dry them, and then everybody uses them again. So, I mean, people just need to think smart, think cheap, because as inflation gets more and more expensive, get things secondhand if you can.
Yes.
Things especially like clothing, things like that. No one
Thrift
should be
stores.
no one should be trying to buy full price those type of things due to inflation. Those things actually hurt you. Buy the things you have to new that are going to be important, like building materials and things like that. But other things secondhand are going to be important because you don't want to waste resources. So you're going to have to really think about what does that look like for you and your family. Now, like I said, I have my own property. I have a home I have to protect and other things. Like, we got to think about what would we need, things we might want to just have on hand, things like that.
Yep.
Just extra parts for things around the house, things of that nature.
Anybody else have anything else to say? Exits? Anything?
Pam
Well,
had some good send off advice, so I put it up.
oh yeah, exactly.
Stop listening to all these workers and Karens. Keep your nose out of other people's business. Thank God.
Solid advice from Pam. Tim is also still doing shows.
Yes.
We'll actually be talking about him about getting back on the schedule. He's supposedly sending me his old computer so I can get back online, and so then that way we can start working, like I said, with one of my old hosts on getting the website, a brand new website set up, all new everything, and we're going to start from the ground up and basically be a new Freedom Revolution. Same old Freedom Revolution, but just new look
New
and new
management.
website. Well, not new management because it's just, I guess it is new management because there is people. So, okay, yeah, but I'm still here, so that's not going to change. So, with that being said, thank you from the land of 10,000 lakes. Good night, universe.
From the seas to the skies, and from fuck, I gotta change my exit.
Yeah,
I
what's
can't say the East
Alabama?
Coast
What's
anymore.
Alabama?
Yeah, right.
What's Alabama known for?
Roll Tide.
I know, but like, what's their like motto? We need to look that up. Like, what's their state flower or state bird? Or we need to go look it
Didn't
up.
mean now.
I know. I just meant in general.
Right.
That we should know. Because I mean, I know like Georgia would be like the peach state. You know what I mean? Like, but what's Alabama?
Exactly.
Like,
I've only passed through Alabama. I've never really been.
yeah, I've never really been to Alabama like that either. I've been to Mississippi. I've been to Georgia, but
Yep,
not
I've been to
Alabama.
Georgia.
Okay, I looked it up. They defend their rights. It's a long
Okay.
fucking.
There you go.
It's a
They
Kind of
long
defend
kind
thing.
of ropes.
state. Well, that's a good place to be. Isn't Alabama Kay Ivey?
I'm not sure.
Isn't that Governor Kay Ivey in
I
Alabama?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Kay
That sounds-
Ivey. Yeah, she was on bullshit during the pandemic.
Oh man, a lot of, as you and I both are fully aware, a lot of governors were on some bullshit.
You know
She
what?
was Republican and like flip flopped and shit.
No, you're good. Give me 1 minute and I'll be done. All right, guys. From the seas to the skies, and from a land made by God, in a state that is not afraid to defend their rights. Good night, universe. TLO, anything?
Never give up, never surrender.
And with that, guys, have a great night. Thank you for joining us back here on the Night Talk. I will catch you guys later. Good night, y'all.